live? Are we live?
In a world with COVID-19, this virus knocking you down.
So so obviously there's going to be a few technical difficulties. God damn it. Are you fucking kidding me? Guys, I'm sorry for the dead space. Just give me 1 second. I'm having a few technical difficulties here. God, dude. This is fucking crazy. Okay. All right. Finally. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, hey, so look, welcome to Prison Junkie. I am your esteemed and beleaguered host, Yanni Cristo. And what I'm doing here tonight, first of all, I want to thank you guys for 2,500 subs. Why am I live streaming at 4 a.m.?
All right, finally.
Oh, here we go. Echo. See, these are the things that you have to do. You know, you got to iron out all these kinks. Now, look, I'm going to let you know right now that this is absolutely, no question about it, going to be deleted. So whatever is said in here, it's between us. Except for, you know, you little screen cappers out there. And you know, hey, look, I mean, go for it. No problem. Anything I say will be used against me in a court of law, and I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, let me check something out here. Go. It got bright. It did get bright. Am I sober? That's a great question. The answer is maybe. Maybe I am. No, I actually am. I am sober. It is really bright. Let me see if there's anything I can do to kind of dial this down a little bit. Yeah, it is bright. Isn't it? Man. If you guys could see what I'm looking at right now, you would be like, I mean, when I say bubblegum and duct tape, I've said that before on a couple of social media platforms, like, it ain't a joke. This is bubblegum and duct tape. It is, I mean, this is like a really tangled. I feel like I'm in Charlotte's Web right now. All right. I'm not getting, I don't get it. Thank God I'm going to delete this because I'm not getting, I can't see the chat. It's not there. Well, fuck, man. Here we go. It's all good. You're 5 by 5. You good, man? Haha, man, I almost missed this. It's 1:30 in the AM here. Well, you must be on the West Coast, right? Colorado, California. And you guys are probably wondering, like, why the hell would you live stream at 4 a.m.? And it's precisely because of this reason, because of the brightness, you know, because of the sound. Does it sound okay? What kind of car was it? The best car that you ever owned was held together with bubblegum and duct tape. And was that a Hot Wheel? Was that a Matchbox? Yeah, what was it? Imaginary? Was it something you drew on paper? Here's the problem I have with this. It keeps going away. I see it and then it goes away. I wish I could just pull the camera down and just look at what I mean, I'm literally, there's like 6 boxes and it's stacked on the boxes, and I'm literally, I could blow one and oh, it didn't fall over. Sounds good that some music started playing. So essentially what you're trying to tell me is that you don't like music, or you just don't like that music? You want something else? Or you just want music, you want me to harmonize a little bit? You want me to hum? I don't know. There's lots of different things that we could do to change this up, switch it up, make it a little more entertaining. You know, probably you guys are wondering, like, why now? You know, why would I start a YouTube channel now, or why would I reboot an existing YouTube channel now? And really, a lot of it has to do with COVID. COVID. I've been very sick over the last 4 months for a variety of reasons that are kind of peripherally related to COVID, and I've also had a lot of experiences over the last couple of years. And I also thought that, you know, whatever sort of happened to kind of give me a bad name on the internet, that maybe, just maybe, it would blow over just enough for me to kind of ease on in here and not get a whole lot of static, you know, kind of have a fresh slate and just get back into it and just kind of see what I can do. And so, man, I just got just unbelievably bored. I just, you know, won too many games of Rocket League, won too many, you know, just sleepless nights. And I just, man, this last little bit of bid, I think really pushed me to like the breaking point in, you know, psychologically. You know, something definitely changed when I got out this time, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. You know, there's just so much anxiety being around other people, and I'm a social guy. You know, I mean, what I do is essentially a salesman. You know, for the most of my life, most of my working career, that's what I've done. Mostly in the car business. I'm sure you guys are like, oh yeah, no doubt. You totally sound like a used car salesman, and you're right, because that's what I've done. Plus the cheesy game show host voice is just what God gave me. Now, all right. So that's it. I have some unfinished business, personally, professionally, and why the Kansas City hat, bro? It's because I'm originally from Kansas City. So from 8 to 17, I lived in Charleston, South Carolina, as a wee little lad. My mom remarried, and we went to Kansas City. And my formative years, my teenage years, that's where I grew up. I became a Royals fan and a Chiefs fan. And Charleston, where I grew up, we didn't have a professional sports team, so you kind of are like Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, Atlanta Braves. You know, it's just one of those teams. That's who you were going to be a fan of. And so when I actually got to a state with professional sports teams, I latched on to Kansas City real quick. And in fact, the first year that I moved there, we won the World Series. So, I mean, hey, man, it was heaven. All right. What else we got here? You seen Gay Dave on the tube the other day. Are you asking me if I saw Gay Dave or you saw him? I mean, if you saw him, cool. I did not see Gay Dave. But boy, man, I wish I would have, man. I'm sure I missed out on a lot. All right, what else we got here? You've seen the Twitter videos. He is a real car salesman. Yeah, I mean, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. I mean, while I was in rehab, I mean, obviously you guys know I OD'd in a parking lot back in April of 2018. And I don't know, there might be a video about it. I'm not sure. I doubt it. Nobody would really care, right? Yeah. And so I had to go to jail, obviously. And I was lucky enough after 3, 4, 5 months to go to rehab, and I got a furlough. And I'll get into the differences between furloughs and bonds, bail bonds, at some point, because they are very different. But that was the situation that I was in. And yeah, I mean, it saved my life. And so yeah, to this day, I am sober. Believe it or not, this is me not high. And a lot of people, you know, they run into me and they're like, "Oh, Yanni, man, you are a really strong cup of coffee. What are you on?" And I'm like, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not on anything at all. And they'd say to me, "Well, you might need to get on something." And that's just, that's kind of how it is. And so that's another reason why I'm on YouTube, is because really just interacting in everyday life with everyday people, sometimes I'm just a little too freaking intense for them to deal with. And so maybe, you know, through this lens, through this camera, I mean, my God, I mean, how institutionalized have I become? I mean, look at this. I mean, I built a rack. I mean, this is it. I built a rack in a prison cell in my house, in my room, which is basically how I live. I mean, I live in a little, you know, kind of studio setup with a little bathroom, and I got my own little entrance, and there's not a whole lot to it. You know, that first video when I showed you the sort of introduction to, you know, the Prison Junkie channel, is pretty close to real. I mean, it is real. I mean, I really was like on the edge and still am on the edge of basically being homeless. And I thought, man, I've still got all this stuff lying around me. Why don't I make something out of it? And here I am. Now, this positioning and everything is definitely going to have to change because it's not working. Is it? Is that working? You know, one thing, the time that I did when I first got locked up in 2008, by the time I really started to kind of get out was 2016. And at that point, touchscreens became everywhere. I mean, everything was a touchscreen. Before that, it was, Blackberries and, keypads and stuff like that. And I still, to this day, I still haven't gotten completely used to touchscreens. And, speaking of summers, I did the calculations on this the other day. I want to say that I am this is my third summer in 12 years. And my first summer in 4 that I've been on the street. So a lot of this stuff is Twitter video of you with the mask on is hilarious. Well, that's funny because that's my real face. This is the mask. The real face is that kind of furry bulldog thing. It's amazing how I pull that off. It's very convincing, I know. The beard, it looks real, right? It's not. That's just a little secret. Now, don't tell anybody. Like I said, I'm going to delete this as soon as I'm done. But just, like I said, keep that between us. All right. Yeah, this is super distracting. All right, I'm actually going to run through each and every one of these things, and I'm going to answer or comment on your comment or your question. What do you think about that? Are you cool with that? All right. If I can pull them up. Holy shit. This is crazy. All right, let's start from the beginning. Do you still need your OG live stream do I still need my OG live stream that Joe took down? All right, look, we're going to start from the top and then work our way down. All right. Hey, Yanni, Tech says, hey, Yanni, love the content. Thank you very much, man. I definitely, put some work into it, and I thought it paid off. You got to understand, this is kind of a one-man band. I now have somebody helping me out a little bit, but in terms of like filming and everything, the setups, that kind of stuff, I mean, I was out there at like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And you guys saw very little footage. I have a lot more, and I'm going to do some more with that stuff later. But like whoever was watching me from the outside looking in, I mean, thank God for COVID. It was pretty barren out there, but there were a few people that walked by, and they had to think I was an absolute fucking nutcase. So, all right. There we go. Have to be a work of force. Sorry, I'm going to miss it. Babylon 1, 2, 3, 4. It is a shame. I mean, because you are missing absolute pure magic here. Because poof, at the end of this, it's going to disappear. Oh man, late night live streams are the best. I'm one of those type of people, man, that when everyone is going this way, I go the other way. Everyone's going to freedom, I'm going to prison. Everyone's live streaming at 3 to 5 p.m. I'm live streaming at 4 a.m. On a Sunday. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you? Okay. Run it smooth, Yanni. I don't know what the hell that means. You mean you want me to shave? It's coming. Believe me. I'm about sick and tired. That's another thing. Talk about going the other way. I mean, who is growing a beard out in the summer? Nobody. I don't care how grizzly they look. I mean, for the most part, people are getting rid of all of this. They're getting down to the bald face. You got to get down to that bald face. Me, Grizzly Adams, checking in. I don't know what that means. Run it smooth. Let me know, and I'll address it. I will address it. Zonger 420 says, "He yo peoples." Who is my peoples? Yo peoples. Where's Jan? Oh, okay. So we're this is like before I even did anything. All right, cool. All right, where's mom? Where's mom? What are you talking about? Where's mom? I lived with my mother for like 3 months. Uh Back in 2017. I've not lived with my mom since then, and it was when I got out of jail just to kind of get back on my feet. If you could only see the way if you could only see the way she loves me. Is that what you wanted? I'm sure it isn't. It's not what I wanted. My ears are bleeding. Are you sober? Yeah, Christopher Palmer, are you sober? I am sober, 110%. No alcohol, no drugs, no kratom, no CBD oil, no weed, no nothing. I even thought about doing a live stream, like an actual live piss stream. OnlyFans? Let me know what you think. The studio looks, yeah, this is quite the studio. The studio looks good. That's one way of putting it. I appreciate it. Thank you. Loving the videos. Hey, listen, I actually, going back to the Cheyenne Hale. Do I have that right? Cheyenne Hale? Um, I had a video in the can, and I took about 3 days shooting this thing, and it was with a guy who had done 22 years in prison, and I'd been in 12 different prisons in Virginia, had also been locked up in Florida and Georgia. And the prison stories were unbelievable. And he's actually a guy that I met in prison, but also was in rehab with. And, we had this is the thing. When you don't have any money, like I don't, and I'm not asking you for anything because I don't want anything, but when you don't have anything to work with and you're dealing with somebody other than yourself, a lot of times they want something. They want money, really specifically. I mean, the only thing I could really do is, hey, you've got a YouTube channel, I'll shout it out. You've got a business, I'll promote it. The only thing I can really do is make sure that your story is told in as accurate and as entertaining a way as possible. But my job really is, at least as far as I'm concerned, is to be accurate. I want to be accurate, and I want it to be authentic. I want it to be genuine, and I want it to be sincere. And if it isn't any of those things, then this just really isn't worth anything to me, because I've mentioned this before. I think maybe on Reddit, maybe it was another social media platform. I'm not in this for the money. My channel's not monetized. So even though I do have 2,500 subscribers, there are videos that I deleted in order to get the all this stuff. Anyway, bottom line is I don't have enough watch time hours to be monetized, and what's going to happen when it's monetized? Then the content is watered down, and then at that point, it becomes something else that I'm not really interested in doing. So, I mean, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, but for the time being, I want it to be real. I want it to be real. Okay. There's got to be a way to leave this up here. Christopher Palmer says, good for you. I'm rooting for you to stay clean. Thank you. I'm rooting for everyone to stay clean. And look, I'm not against recreational drug use. I mean, seriously, I think that there are people out there, they can shoot heroin, they can put PCP in their butt, and they can do it on the weekends, and they can do it without wrecking their lives. Me, I have a drop of alcohol to drink. I'm going to be up on stage during a concert like I was, and next thing I know, I wake up with an assault on a law enforcement officer. I do a year in jail. That's me. Some people break out in hives. Some people break out in handcuffs. That's my allergy, and it's anything. Any sort of mind-altering substance is a major problem. So for me, I'm not judging anybody else that does anything else, but for me, it doesn't work. Zonger 420, what kind? Bazooka or bubble yum? Honestly, I don't really, this is really boring, but I don't do a lot of sugar. Every once in a while, when I do something that I'm really proud of, I reward myself with ice cream. But I don't drink soda with sugar in it. I don't eat a lot of candy, and I never, ever, ever chew gum with sugar in it. That's what happens when you get old. You got to take care of your teeth. Oh. Okay. Hold on. Somebody just gave me a tip. Let's see if it works. I can make this a little cleaner. So bear with me 1 second. Like I said, this is a test. Hopefully this stuff will be worked out and it'll be a lot smoother next time. Oh, smart. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh my God, this is like a game changer. Oh, this is great. Okay. Holy shit, that's so different. Wow. Just turning the thing, just going from here to there. It's amazing what 90 degrees will do for just legibility, readability. Oh my God. Thanks for the tip. Can Yanni post anything without you guys bringing up holy shit. Now, I can pronounce a lot. I mean, if there's one thing that I'm kind of like is in my wheelhouse is linguistics, the English language. Whoever said something about not bringing up such and such, there's no fucking way. Impossible. There's no way I could pronounce that in a million years. Is that a fly? Love from Arizona. Hey man, love from Virginia. I'm at the northernmost tip, and in fact, I'm like within 4 different states right now. We got Maryland is within 20 miles. West Virginia is within 5. Pennsylvania is within like 8 to 10, and DC is about 50 miles away. That's where it's all happening. That's where it's all happening. All right. Sounds good. I live in Seattle. Basically, Jason Thompson. Basically, what does that mean? I mean, could you basically, you just live like in the suburbs of Seattle, or do you, I don't know, you'd have to unpack that a little bit. Zonger 420. I'm 1 state away. It's 4:24 a.m. here also. Wow, you and I are sharing the same time zone. We've got a lot in common, Zonger. Keep it up. Might get a copyright claim, should probably turn the music off. That's my music, honey. Don't worry about copyright claims. Believe me, that's well taken care of. The last thing I'm going to do is get hit with a copyright claim over music. But thank you very much for your concern. Please don't take that the wrong way. Asshole, probably my favorite name on the internet. Because it's not spelled, it's a little play on words. It's ASSWHOLE. Music audio is a little too high compared to your voice audio. Yeah, so that's something I'm working on. I literally do not have a... I would love to be able to show you how this is all arranged. I'm not going to right now. Okay. Jason Thompson says, Jason, you are very, very, very prolific in this chat. Like I said, we all wanted you back, and we are all glad you are. Is the music still playing? Let me know, because if the music's still playing, I'll just dump it. I'm probably going way overboard with music. I think on that Pee-wee video, I think I had like 7, 8 different tracks. A lot of that was to cover some wind noise. So when I shot that video, just FYI, I didn't use the same mic setup. I just used the mics that were built into the camera, and they sucked. So consequently, when the audio was, I was trying to mix it, and I'm a picky little bastard and everything, it was always fighting with the wind. And so I finally just said, look, man, let me just put a little music in here. Maybe it'll offset the difference. Maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. I apologize. Oh, very slick, very slick. Somebody just sent me a messenger, something on Facebook Messenger letting me know who they were. And it was, I never would have guessed. So anyway, Jason Thompson says, like I said, we all wanted you back, and we're all glad you are. Forget the APS haters. Just don't start documenting you buying and flipping houses, please. I don't even know what that means. Buying and flipping houses. The day that I can afford to buy and flip a house, I mean, I might be able to flip a house of cards. Maybe. I might be able to flip like an old house music CD. Maybe. What am I missing here? Maybe the box set, House MD. You ever seen the show with the like kind of crippled drug addict doctor? That's something I could probably play. Crippled drug addict doctor. Got two out of the three. Just the doctor part I got to work on. General Jones, yeah, I already addressed that. Seen Gay Dave on Tube the other day. Okay, cool. You've seen the Twitter. Okay, we already talked about that. Joe Delicious, he was so sexy. Are you talking about me or are you talking about somebody else? I'm sure you're talking about me. Brood Jap 57 says, Yanni, missed you, man. I hope you will be making videos soon. You didn't see the ones I did last couple days or weeks? I mean, I know there's like a 4-day gap, but what have you done for me lately, man? That is the world, dude. Let's put the pressure on, man. We need more. It's okay. It's coming. It's coming. Just chill. Bellium 128, not the Panthers. I'm assuming you mean the Carolina Panthers, and yeah, hell no. That team was not existing when I became a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So yeah, hell no, not the Panthers. Dot to Dot says hello. Wow. Dot to Dot. Wow. I mean, that's hello. How you doing? Nice to see you. Jason Thompson again. LOL. People from Carolina don't even like the Panthers, so of course. Well, I mean, no shit. Bellium 128. Oh, the shade. I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, so now I'm kind of like catching up, and I'm a little behind. But I want to read every single one of these has anything that's beyond hello. So dot to dot. If you come again, come a little more correct. You look like you got a little wisdom on you, so share some. Share some. All right. What's on your chin? Wouldn't you and everybody else wants to know? I mean, I had people begging me. Literally, in the last video that I shot, this dude went on for like 3 or 4 minutes about my fucking beard hair. Wendy Johnson. A doggy, are you watching what's cracking off at Ware Penitentiary? The pantry? Penitentiary? I don't know. Christopher Palmer says, have you talked to Joe lately? Listen, the guy is really hard to get a hold of. He's running a presidential election now. And, I mean, it's a very competitive thing. You know, the country is very divided. You have this group over here, and they want this thing, and you have that group over there, and they want something else, and people want money for unemployment, and, and civil rights, and coronavirus, and all that stuff. He doesn't have time to talk to me. Who am I? Have I talked to Joe lately? Look, maybe after the election I'll get a hold of him. 1,500 inmates riot right now, Yanni. Yeah, well, it's funny because I've actually been in a prison riot in Macon State. I think it was 2009. It might have been 2008. No, I think it was 2009 or 10. Somewhere in there. My memory. Doing this kind of stuff, really jogs my memory and gets me back to that place, which I realized for the longest time I didn't want to go there. I mean, I really didn't. I didn't want to go there. I was like, that's the past, moving forward. And it was really hard for me to access this stuff. And I've been so sick lately, physically and really psychologically. And I really want to get into like mental health issues and the residue of, being incarcerated and having to adapt to society, and the steps that I took in order to get to a closer place where I could assimilate and did not feel so weird in society. I didn't always feel that way, but as time marched on, I have, and I've done a lot of work, and a lot of practical stuff, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with, AA or even getting clean. It has to do with lots of other things, and I would love to get into that and just share my experience. And if there's a little piece that you guys could take from it, I mean, that would be really cool, because ultimately what I really want to do, other than make like cool shit, is to help people. I mean, like really help people, not necessarily give them money or stuff. I mean, that's cool and everything, but that doesn't really fix the problem. It's just kind of like a drywall patch or whatever. I mean, you still gotta, sand it down, and you gotta repaint it, and you gotta do all that stuff. Now, you really, in order to get to a real solution, you gotta get to the root of that deal. And sometimes it goes back years, sometimes it goes back decades, and everybody's a little bit different. And so I'm no different. I am different in that I'm no different. And I think it would be really, really beneficial for me to share this stuff now while it's kind of roiling around in my soul. And so, yeah, that's exactly what I plan on doing. Christopher Palmer, I already answered that question. Cheyenne Hill, that's cool. We're all glad to see you sober and free. Well, yeah, I mean, you and me both. It's awesome. General Jones, stay out of jail. I mean, we'll see. I mean, here's the crazy thing about it. I'm always looking over my shoulder. I driving, I go to Walmart, anything. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. It just seems like in my life for the last, 20 years, if I could go left or right, and only one way is the right way. I always pick the wrong way. And it could be as simple as anything. I am the king of making bad decisions. Oh, I'm getting really far behind, but that's okay. I mean, we're going to get through this. We are going to get through this. I promise you. You still need your OG live stream. Do I still need my OG live stream that so-and-so got taken down? I don't need it. No, I'm good. I'm good. And I mean, why would I need that? All right. Jason Thompson, did anyone see the jail escape in Florida? I did not see it. Managed to escape using sheets from like a 12th floor cell. His cellmate went with him, but had to jump for it from the 4th floor and smash the ground hard. That reminds me of Ted Bundy. He actually escaped from, I think, a Colorado prison, and he did it the same way. He was in the library. I want to say it was like the 3rd floor, but he jumped like 30 feet. I think he maybe broke his leg or tore his knee up, but still made it to the forest and then got to Michigan. He watched a Michigan Wolverines game and then made his way down to Florida and then wiped out, a whole sorority house. So hopefully these guys well, shit, they're already in Florida, so the sorority's right around the corner. I mean, that might be Bundy's kid. I don't know. Because he did have a kid. That guy actually had a kid while he was on death row. He impregnated a woman on death row. I don't know if you can still do that. That's crazy. I mean, Jesus Christ. All right, they got videos coming out of there from prison guards getting shanked in the face, bro. Facts! Facts! Okay, I believe you. Facts. So you had COVID. What was it like? I'll get into it. I actually, I had a lot more than that. And I'm still fighting through it. And I'll know for sure if I'm kind of clear in the middle of August. And I want to make a video about that, because it's not just people. I mean, yes, people that have COVID, yes, but I mean, people that don't have COVID and have other things or get other things are really affected negatively by COVID because of the hospital overcrowding and everything else. I mean, just people are just spread really thin. And to be honest with you, I mean, I need to get back into it. I've really shut down on the news. It's like just Twitter and Facebook and, all these politically motivated, I mean, you just hear stuff. I really want an objective news source, right? Isn't that the hardest thing to find? Like, everything is subjective. You look over here on the right and it's all right wings, and you look over here on the left and it's like, well, what is the truth? Does anybody really know? You go through Facebook and it's meme after meme after meme with stat after stat after. Where did you get them? Where did they come from? And then you start doing a little digging, and the source usually is hella suspect. So I finally just kind of shut it down. I'm like, I don't know what to believe, and I still don't. So again, I'm man enough to admit that. I'm going on that quest. Inmates are filming live in the middle of the riot right now. Wouldn't that be? Should I do like a reaction video of the riot right now? I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to do that. If somebody could help me, figure it out. Maybe I can figure it out right here. Who knows? Okay. Remember, Sucker Free Gear says, remember I said it was stupid when tattooed a number 13 on your buddy Mike Jones because if he ends up in prison, he will have trouble. Well, what happened with that? I don't remember the 13 being you saying that. I believe you. And, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, okay, you right. You right. You got that. I'm gonna let you have that, son. You got that. Why are you taking it down? Because to me, it kind of looks like shit, to be honest with you. It looks like shit. I don't know if it sounds okay. Do you guys still hear music? I haven't even gotten to that point. Was that 6-hour live stream you did about APS true? Moses98. Moses98, because you exposed Joe still being on probation and called you a liar when you exposed him. Did he really? He called me a liar? When I exposed him on that, he later revealed he was still on probation. Well, I guess there's your answer. I really don't need to say anything about it. You've already answered your own question, right? I mean, I'm sure in the video he apologized to me for, ruining my reputation on the internet. I'm sure he did that, right? Of course he did. All right, Bellium. 128 also revealed that the first Yanni vid was staged, just like he said. Did I say that? Did I say that? I don't. And people keep bringing up this APS thing and this guy and my association with it, and I've actually seen some of this stuff as a result of me doing this. I've looked at it. I've seen some of this stuff, and I'll tell you what. The name Yanni, spelled Yonnie, is very uncommon. Now in Greece, that's the name, the nationality, it comes from Greece. It's a pretty common name, but it's generally spelled Giannini, not Yonnie. Okay, so it's kind of an Americanized version, and it's, to my knowledge, only myself and maybe my dad have the same name. But what's weird is the person on this channel that you guys keep talking about, that person also has the same name, and he looks a lot like me. I mean, I see the resemblance, and I see how people could make that mistake, but I'm gonna have to do some more digging. Just like all these sources where you're not really sure what's true, what's not, what's real, what's fake. I'm gonna have to do some more digging in that. Russian guy, can Yanni post anything without you guys bringing up apps, please? Okay, first of all, Russian guy, apps is use another P. It's short for application, or you might be talking about a shipping company. I use FedEx, so you can bring up UPS all you want. If the letters flip, that's fine. That's fine. What can Brown do for me? Nothing really, because they fucked up a couple of my packages. I used them again. I gave them one more shot because the rate was a little bit cheaper. They fucked them up again. One, two, third time. I'm an idiot, right? Didn't George W. Bush say, "They fooled me once, shame on you. They fooled me twice. Well, I won't be fooled again." That's what he said. Well, I won't be fooled again. Damn it. Mary Faulkner, message deleted. Oh, what? Why was it deleted? I bet that was entertaining. Ramit, in my asshole. I thought it was just an Indian. No, it's ram it in my asshole. I know a guy who can hook you up. Any update on Pee Wee? No, it's just the same thing that I threw up there at the end of the video. Is that I honestly don't know if he's in custody or if he's out on bond. I'd like to know, though. I would like to know. I'd like to talk to Pee Wee, to be honest with you. I've known him a long time. Known him since he was a kid. Cheyenne Hill, LOL. The General Jones comments are hilarious because I have no idea what he's saying. Well, that makes two of us. Moses 98. Okay. Nothing. My cock swollen. I mean, this is great. You were catching me with all this stuff. Like I had like remnant of my. Oh, you got me, Mike. Yeah, you got me again. You guys keep smoking me, man. I love it. Exactly. I'm sure he's tired of talking about. I told you I don't want to get into politics. Okay. I mean, because I really don't know what's going on. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know. Donald, Joe, whatever. Okay, I don't know. Bellion was so hard not to not dwell on it, though. It just feels like there's so much tension there. Oh, from who? From me? I didn't know I'd ever. I don't. Why? I don't. Tension with what? Sexual tension? I don't feel it. Not really into that. Didn't know you were monetized. That sucks. Yeah, you're right. It does suck. It would be very cool to actually make money doing this, but I have zero expectations for that. Again, not really interested in diluting the content, so. I'm not even going to read that. Brian Cliffdog, my man Yanni, my man Brian Cliffdog. Finally, a name that's saying something cool that isn't like some fucking weird ass sexual innuendo. Like my cunt, or ram it in my asshole, or my cock swole. Prove it. I bet you can. Hippo, bruh. Hippo, bruh. Hippo. Man, if I had a beard like that, life would be dope. It doesn't get any doper than my life. It used to be the dopest. And I think you guys know what I mean. Kelly Wilson says, stupid question, can you drink a couple of beers a day and successfully use Harvoni? Successfully use Harvoni? What do you mean use it to cure hepatitis C? I think you're really rolling the dice there. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure that your chances, I think Harvoni is like 98.5, 99% effective for hepatitis C. But if you start mixing alcohol with it, I mean, what's worse for the liver than alcohol? Nothing, right? I mean, I don't think there's anything worse for liver than alcohol. So that's a really bad idea. Please, Kelly, if you're thinking about doing that, don't do that. Treat yourself to a better life. Get the hep C clear. And then I guess drink all you want. I mean, I really wish you would just stop. There's a way to do it. I promise you, honey, there is a better way. Yanni, with those deep blue eyes of yours, how many compliments do I get from them? Well, I mean, honestly, I really haven't been outside the house much in the last 5 months. I was on quarantine for a huge chunk of time, and really, my autoimmune system is so kind of trashed that it's a really bad idea. So I only go out when it's absolutely essential because I'm a high-risk case right now. So really, never. Almost never. Every once in a while. Sometimes I'll run into somebody who's like morbidly obese. Sex is in question. That's okay. It's 2020. That's to be expected and accepted. I do both. And I'll get a comment on the on the blue eyes from the blue balls. Tyler Sweet, do you still smoke cigarettes? I do, man. It's a horrible habit. In fact, you can probably see it right here on this mustache. I'm pretty sure this is from nicotine and coffee. There are two things, the hardest two things in the world to quit, and I'm never going to quit coffee. And in fact, it is very good for my liver. Part of my problem is a liver virus that I have, and it's very active. And it's actually, to be honest with you, for your liver enzymes, coffee is quite good for your liver enzymes. You never would expect it. I would think coffee, it comes from grounds, and it's not really filtered through paper. Imagine that going through your liver and spleen and gallbladder and all these filtering systems, and it lets it's dark as hell. It just doesn't look, it stains your teeth. I mean, you just imagine what happens inside your body. But believe it or not, studies have been done. Again, left, right, where's the source coming from? But I can tell you this, when I drink coffee, I do actually feel better. So I'm going to keep drinking coffee. And I am really on the edge. I mean, the last pack of cigarettes I bought was $7.80, and I just did it like 2 hours ago. And honestly, I can't afford it. So I don't know if it's going to be the vape plan the patch plan. When I was in the hospital, I was on the patch. And to be honest with you, I really didn't want a cigarette. But it's one of those things, you get out, I just not committed. I've given them so many other things in my life. It's like, can I just have this one thing? I feel like every man needs a vice. And I don't really gamble. I don't drink, and I don't do drugs. The only thing I used to do addictively, part of the solution for my addiction was Rocket League, which is a whole nother story and a whole nother video. But I've since taken it way too far, and I've uninstalled it. So now my last vice is those cigarettes. And boy, when I get rid of that, I'll really be doing something. So, Zonger, 420, you were saying your set was put together with bubblegum and strings, so I asked Bazooka, gotcha. So if I had to pick, I'm going Bazooka because I'm getting a comic. I mean, who doesn't want a comic and gum? I mean, if I'm going to get gum and nothing, or gum and a comic, why would I just get gum? That's crazy. It's like buy one, get one free, or just buy one. I'll buy one, I'll get the free. I'm going to buy one and get the free. That's me. That's what I'm going to do. That's a smart move. Boss man Taylor says, shout out from the UK, Yanni, which is not an English accent at all. It's not even close. I'm not even going to try one yet. Born Mush. Sup, Yanni, big fan. Yeah, I feel you, Born Mush. Cowl caps. I mean, you're not kidding around. You really wore Born Mush. I don't know what that means. Hippo, bro. Yanni, did you teach yourself those dope editing skills? I mean, who else taught me? Yeah. Pretty much. I might have had a little hand here or there. I mean, I did go to film school for about 6 months. Russian guy, you're doing good on the live stream, bud. Thank you. General Jones, time for CCAP peanut butter. CCAP peanut butter. That's funny. A buddy of mine just was scheduled to go to CCAP. And before he was supposed to go, he had to take a drug test. And he tested positive for meth and opiates. Which he was like, yeah, I did the meth, but the opiates, that won't me. It didn't matter. So they'd send him to Norfolk City jail and like a holding thing. And then he had another issue. And he's still, I believe, in Norfolk City jail. Don't know if he's going to make it to CCAP. You know, here's the thing. You're under that much scrutiny. You better act right. Boss Man Taylor, whatever happened to Pee Wee, already addressed that. Born Mush, are you going to be making more YouTube content? If so, why the hell would I be doing this live stream if I was just going to drop the mic and bounce? Think about it. Yeah, of course I'm going to make some more YouTube content. Believe it. I just spent 4 days on a project that I had to throw in the toilet. And the reason why, there's a lot of reasons why, but one reason I really had to evaluate, because I've been on the receiving end of this, as you know, most of you know, where, okay, I want it to be real. I want it to be authentic, and I want it to help other people. And in some way, it's not me telling you how to feel about this thing. It's just me showing you this information, these images, and then you guys making your own decision. And I thought, boy, I really captured something very special, but I had to switch gears. It went from a prison story to this kind of intervention thing to me trying to save this person. And the fact of the matter is that this is called in the AA a 12-step call. And the last thing that I need to be doing at this point in my sobriety is doing one-on-one 12-step calls, especially on camera. So for me to do the story accurately and fairly, I would have to get into things that might get this person in trouble. And it could be very embarrassing for them, even though they agreed to do it. I just felt like morally it was the wrong thing to do to upload this. So I spent some time on it. I think it's an amazingly powerful video. Hopefully somewhere down the line I can do something with it. Maybe on a different platform I could, but it's a little too much for YouTube. It's just a little too much for YouTube, and sometimes doing the right thing is what happens when nobody's looking. If everybody's looking, you really have to figure out, like, am I doing this because the cameras are on, or am I doing this because it really is the right thing, or am I doing this because everyone's looking at me? And at this point, nobody was looking at me anymore, and I really looked inward, and I tried to figure out, like, how would I feel if I was on the receiving end of this? And the thing about it is I kind of know. But this was much, 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 much rawer than the thing that was kind of done to me. So I decided not to do it. I'll cross that bridge. I'm gonna do some more thinking on this and see if I can present it in a way which is, not so damaging. Because even though like kids could watch this or somebody with a drug problem could watch this, they probably could watch it in the same way they would see like Requiem for a Dream, a movie like that, and be like, oh, okay, that's too far. I'm getting to that point. I don't ever want to be at that point. That's probably the point of no return. But the last message I would want to send to anyone is that there is no hope. On the other hand, sometimes there isn't hope. Even in the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, I don't know if it's NNA, but definitely AA, it says there are people who are constitutionally incapable of being honest, and I'm not sure if this person is that. And if it's appropriate and humane to, put that out there. I'm not God, so I'm not going to act like one. All right. Oh, thank you. I love the color balance even on this impromptu live stream. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. Night Raider, does this get saved? Can't watch it all now. No, it doesn't get saved. I don't think it does. I really, there's a couple things I've already said that I really don't want out there in the wind. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I can possibly be because, I've turned the page. If somebody else or some other, entity or whatever, channel, anything else, they haven't turned the page, that's their problem. It's not my problem. That's the thing about it. Like, I'm not going to say anything more about it, but it's not my problem. But I don't want it to become a problem. All right? Cheyenne Hill. Okay, there's no music anymore. Oh, I'm only 30 minutes behind. Who does a live stream at 4:30? Hey, I ain't complaining. Neither am I. Other than I'm starting to get, my mouth is starting to get a little dry. I mean, you might want to give me a second, maybe get some water here in just a minute. Jason Thompson and Borg Motion, Asshole, and General Jones. You guys are running this show. I live in SeaTac, which is the outskirts of Seattle, but it's Seattle. That's basically it. Okay, cool. I've always wanted to go to Seattle. I've never been. I'm a big, retro video game nerd. I know that doesn't have anything to do with prison, but, Seattle is the home of Nintendo of America, and I still, to this day, who makes better video games than Nintendo? I mean, really nobody. I mean, if you just want to have fun, it's hard to beat just a really well-designed Nintendo game, and their corporate headquarters is in Seattle, and they even owned Seattle Mariners. I think they sold their interest in it. Nobody gives a shit. Moving on. All right. Bormush, you need to get StreamYard, Yanni, so you can have guests on. I don't even know what that is, and I don't even know how to do that. I will tell you this. The last thing I want to do is I'm not going to say it. All right, you should learn how to use Audacity. You can reduce background noise a lot with that software. So are you saying there's a lot of background noise? All right, let me know. General Jones, no flips in Winchester. Okay. Russian, let's get some nice video. Let's get some, how do we do? Let me get into my Russian character. Okay. Let's get, so Russians would never say nice. They would just say, they would get rid of that. See, Russians, they get rid of the adjectives. When they speak English, it's like, let's get video and the video equipment going. He says, let's get some nice videos and equipment going. But a Russian would say, let's get nice video. No, they wouldn't say nice. I already fucked that up. Let's get video equipment going. Okay, that's terrible. Sorry. Last live stream was fire, says Ghost Mine. What, the one I did in my car with the bulldog head? No, I'm sure that's not the one you're talking about. You're talking about the one where I was not in good shape. ... Oh my God, oh my God, what the fuck with the house? Who cares about who cares about house flipping, for Christ's sake? I don't know anything about that. I don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, so listen. If I'm gonna flip a house, it's gonna have, houses usually have windows. If they don't have windows, you know what they are? They're prison cells. Maybe I'll get into that. Yeah, maybe I'll get into that. Maybe I'll get into prison cell flipping. Before that, to try and generate some money, I'll probably have to get into pancake or burger flipping, but that's a whole other thing. All right. Don't care. I just hope the channel sticks around for good this time. Bellum 128. I think you're referring to me, and I'm going to do my very best to do that, but you have to balance everything in life, right? So right now I'm not working for a variety of reasons. I'm sure you guys can figure those out. And at some point, I have to draw an income. So I'll try and, and of course, my sobriety comes first. If I ever felt like this, doing any of this YouTube content, because I want it to be good, right? I want to put some effort into it. And the materials that I have to work with, the resources are very, very, very limited. I'm using a 10-year-old computer and a 7-year-old camera, to make my little films. And I'm also applying a moral standard to the stuff that I'm doing. Not saying that anybody else doesn't. I'm not saying that at all. But just me personally, there are limits in some cases that other people wouldn't apply, but there are also no limits in places where people would apply those limits. So figuring out, striking that balance, again, going back to balance, striking that balance is, is the hardest part. And so I'm kind of working through that and navigating it, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I'm doing my very best to stay in the present tense. If I think too far in the future, somebody mentioned a 5-year plan, I didn't address that, but if I think too far in the future, or if I dwell on the past, it really is difficult to move forward. I have to be open to the opportunities and the possibilities of life. That's what makes it cool, right? Is being surprised, the mystery, the adventure. That's what I thought I was getting when I was getting high. I always thought that I had this little secret that nobody else really knew about it. Oh, those people over there that aren't getting high, man, they're suckers. It turns out the whole time I was the sucker. And I don't want to be that anymore. So I want to be open to, just magic. Yeah, sorry. Who's cutting onions in here? All right, anyway. All right. Helen Delatorre says, I just opened my eyes and there you are. Good morning. Helen, if you play your cards right, you could do that every day. But you would have to have a hell of a deck of cards because I don't know what you look like. All right, Ben Case. I don't support any sports teams now that they kneel during the national anthem. Can't support traitors to our country. Look, man, you're talking to the wrong guy, and I'm going to tell you why. And it has nothing to do with any of this political stuff. Freedom of speech on both sides, I think, is being impugned. It's being attacked. Whether it's wearing a certain symbol, the right to free assembly, and that works all the way across the board, no matter what you believe. It ought to be acceptable in certain. That being said, look, let's cut the crap. Kansas City Chiefs won the World Series. Won the World Series. Oh, it's getting late. The Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. I don't care if they do handstands, cartwheels, or anything else. If the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl, if we're playing football this year, I'm watching it. I'm watching it. That's all I have to say about that. I respect your opinion, and I respect your decision not to watch sports if kneeling is allowed during the national anthem. Let me tell you something real quick. My grandfathers and their brothers, all of them to a man, they came over to this country from Greece in the aughts, the teens, and the 20s. Now, none of my grandfathers or great uncles did not fight in World War II in some capacity. They all served, whether it was as infantrymen. My grandfather was a pilot. He was a P-51 Mustang pilot. My great uncle Roe was in Guadalcanal, which was an unbelievably violent conflict, and so on and so forth. I had another great uncle who was in the Air Force, and they all served, and some of them actually were decorated with Purple Hearts and Silver Stars. So no one is a bigger patriot than I am. I'm a big believer in service to your country and supporting our troops. The politicians make the decisions about these wars. The soldiers do the fighting. They don't make those decisions. So in that case, especially in World War II, they were drafted. Vietnam, drafted. Now it's an avenue for education, for income, GI Bills, all that stuff, health insurance, great benefits, do 20 years, get retirement. No matter how much I might disagree with the reasons for getting involved in a war, I will always support our military, and I will also always support free speech. Both are very important. That's what they fight for, in my opinion. All right. Dude, why does everyone want to talk to Biden? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. General Jones, Yanni Rabbit 2020. Hey, look, I know Rabbit. I was locked up with Rabbit in two different times, actually, in two different places. Chesapeake City Jail, Hampton Roads Regional Jail. I even shot him after... I didn't shoot him. I gave him some coffee back in... he didn't have anything. He wanted some coffee. He was looking for some sweets. I think I hooked him up with both back in August or July of 2018. He made his way to Hampton Roads Regional, where this is where all the bad guys go. If you a problem in anywhere in the 7 cities, your ass is going. You hit. Your ass is going to Hampton Roads Regional. So you'd have to ask Rabbit what he did. Just got here. Fiji water. John Jones, what's up, bro? What's up? John Jones, John Bones Jones. Man, I really appreciate it, dude. Who wins the next fight? Fiji water, just got here. People speculated that Yanni is on drugs, yet it's kind of a tradition. It is a tradition, and nobody really got a couple questions about me being sober. I answered in the affirmative. Speculation is welcome. Trolls are welcome. Bring it on. I don't give a fuck. Jason Thompson, Biden should be so lucky to have Yanni as a cult. He really should. He really should. He's, I don't want to offend anybody, but maybe a speech consultant. I mean, let's just keep it real. ... Fiji, maybe he's not on drugs now. Has anybody speculated on that? Hey, again, speculate all you want. Tyler Sweet, ask Joe about drywall patching at that. What is the deal with this flip house stuff, man? I am not getting into flipping houses. I don't have... Crazy. Like, who cares? I don't get it. John Meehan, love from Chicago. Happy to hear you're sober. I just fell off myself. Are you a big reader? Do you have a favorite book or author? Holy cow. All right, first of all, yeah, much love from Chicago. Chicago, beautiful city. One of the most beautiful cities in the world. I can take a little story about Chicago when I was a kid. They had these really high-tech video games, battle tech simulator things. We made a trip to go there and went to the first McDonald's and Johnny Rockets and all that stuff in the World Trade Center. It's awesome. Chicago was a beautiful city then. I haven't been there in years. You just fell off yourself. I'm assuming you mean drugs or alcohol. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I would love to be able to set up something where we could actually, real addicts and alcoholics could have a forum, and then I can kind of shoot you in the right direction, push you in the right way. I can't solve all your problems, but man, if I could just carry a little bit of the message and a little bit of what I've learned and what I do, I would love to do that. And do I have a favorite book or author? I mean, I guess it changes, I don't, a favorite book? Yikes. I don't know. I've got lots of favorite books and lots of favorite authors. I mean, that's definitely something that you do while you're locked up. I mean, I'm a big reader. In addition to a big poker player, I do like to gamble in prison. That's something that I do regularly. I even like to even run my own sort of gambling thing. I mean, just what I have to do to get by. And I'm going to do a sports in prison and sort of gambling video about prison because it's two things that I have a lot of experience with. How has COVID, Cheyenne Hale, how has COVID affected my mental health, sobriety, and day-to-day life? Okay, so I think I was very lucky during COVID because I've been so sick physically, and I knew that if anything, if I took anything, that it was going to really compromise my health, and that kept me going. So even though the only meetings I could attend were like Zoom meetings, couldn't really be around anybody, and I live by myself, so there is I don't have any checks and balances here. I can do everything that I want to do. But that kept me going, including a lot of support from people here locally. That's why I moved here. I got sober here. I went to rehab here. And so when I got out of jail a few months ago, this is where I stayed. This is where I planted my flag. And so this is where I am. And that's if my mental health is always in question. I mean, I'm a lunatic. As crazy as I was getting high, I'm that much more crazy sober. And I'm actually doing a video with a guy tomorrow who's got 3 years clean, whittled his way down to 110 pounds on meth. He's punk rock kid. He actually does. But in addition to that, he's a gun collector and he does Civil War reenactments. And he does these Millicent Soft simulations where they do different conflicts. It could be like terrorist conflicts, Russian, Chechens, whatever. I mean, he does all this stuff. I don't really know much about it. But he's a really fascinating, interesting guy, and I met him while I was in rehab. He's actually an employee there. Can't mention the name, but fascinating guy. I mean, amazing personality. Just me and him together. I'm dying to see how it's going to play out. Good friend of mine. Everybody on Reddit. Oh, and by the way, mental health. There are lots of things that I do to address my mental health that have absolutely, again, nothing to do with drugs or program stuff. Whether it's cognitive behavioral therapy, I do that once or twice a week, usually twice. Peer recovery, I do that as well. I also see a psychiatrist. I mean, you name it, I do it. I mean, we have a lot to talk about in that regard, because that's a subject which is really near and dear to my heart, especially now, because mental health issues are affecting people in ways that they've never really affected them before because of the sequestering and the quarantine. And definitely people who are teeter-tottering, on the edge of becoming like full-blown addicts or alcoholics, this has pushed them over the edge. And because of the lack of work and all of this information coming in such a weird way, it's a nightmare, because you just don't know how to separate from the wheat from the chaff. The only thing I can do is tell you to just get the fuck out, man. Back away, step away from it, get some perspective. And again, we'll talk about it. But man, there are so many different outlets and solutions out there. And I want to be able to expose each and every one of you to a better way, to a solution, something that's worked for me. The crazy is never going to completely go away with me. It makes me who I am, and I'm okay. I'm accepting it and I'm embracing it. I'm trying, more and more to do that every day. But yeah, that's kind of what I meant in the trailer. Is like, this is a journey. It's a quest. It is an adventure, and I would like to share it, and I would like to, share it in a very interactive way. Everybody on Reddit says everyone. I don't care about that. Mendelsohn, Bundy jumped out of the second floor of a courthouse. I knew I was close. It wasn't the third floor or second floor, but I think he did mess up his leg or whatever, made it to the forest. I mean, I was close. Story worked. Yeah, but bro, jumping from the second story and busted his foot and ankle. Yeah, okay. I was right. Not the first time. It might be only the second or third time. I don't know. Fiji Water, it's too early to start speculating. He looks healthy, making videos that kick ass. The answer is no. I mean, I could do that. I'm not healthy. I might look healthy. Are you fucking kidding me? I look healthy. Look at my eyes. Look at them. I'm sure they're red, yellow, different shades of those two. They probably look like McDonald's arches with the Ronald McDonald stripes in there. I mean, I'm definitely not 100% healthy. I'm a long way from it. I'm not even cleared to exercise yet. I'm hoping to get that in the next 10 to 14 days, but I'm not there yet. Well, it looks good to me. Good. When you were arrested the last time, did they take you to CFW Regional there in your town? When I was arrested the last time, I wasn't arrested here in Winchester. The last time I was arrested, now I did have to turn myself in, which is a whole nother story. I mean, you got to understand, when I OD'd in that parking lot, which was legit, that's true. That's true. I did have a heroin overdose in that parking lot in April of 2018. I was charged with possession of a Schedule I narcotic. And, of course, if you plead guilty to that charge, which is what I did, there is a violation which comes behind it. Now, I never thought I would have to go back to jail, but, life ain't fair. And I did, and I did. I actually went in sober, which made the experience of jail, in a lot of cases, jail is much harder than prison. I've been in 7 different prisons in 2 different states. And I've been in God knows how many jails. And I'm here to tell you that there are a couple of jails that I've been in, whether it's Rice Street in Atlanta or Hampton Roads Regional in Hampton Roads. It's actually in Portsmouth, that are in a lot of ways tougher than any prison I've ever been in. And I've been in maximum security, close security, at Macon State Prison in Georgia. And I would say that those 2 jails, in their own way, and in some ways Macon's a little tougher, but in some ways the jail is, so Hampton Roads Regional in particular, and that is a tough place. Rice Street's reputation is a little overblown, to be honest with you. Hampton Roads Regional is a fucking horror show if you're in maximum security. I'm here to tell you, you're on the 5th floor, forget about it. It is serious business. So no, I didn't go to CFW Regional, despite what... Cheyenne Hill, I'd like to hear about your COVID experience. Hopefully you can make a video on that. I will. I think Bundy... Okay. Tyler Sweet, don't go to social media platforms for news. Probably a bad idea, but where do you go? Give me some advice, because I'm really not sure. I'm confused about the whole thing. All right. What are these guys talking about? Oh, my God. This is like a something... This is a something else kind of stream. You guys are talking about everything but... All right. What content? I don't even know what this is. All right, Joe Delicious. Serious question, Yanni. The YouTube prison channel market is getting pretty saturated. Instead of the original few channels, there are lots now. Does that worry you? If not, why? And do you plan to? Nothing. Who said I was doing strictly a prison channel? I mean, I mentioned very specifically that this channel in particular has a lot to do with recovery and addiction. And I've also mentioned that it has a lot to do with mental health. I mean, these are 3 topics that I don't think that many prison channels are either have the experience to deal with, are equipped to deal with. And obviously I do have some prison stories or prison experiences, and I want to talk to some people about the residue, you know, the leftover effect from being locked up and how they're adapting. But also prison experiences as well. The bottom line is, I mean, look, you've already seen it. You tell me. I don't give a shit how saturated it is. I don't fit in that box. I'm going to be doing lots of different things, hopefully, health permitting, resources permitting, and time permitting. I'm going to be doing lots of different things. So I'm not, I don't even think that applies to me. And I mean, honestly, if you've watched some of the stuff that I've done, if my personality seems like somebody else's personality, let me know. I don't think it does, but maybe it does. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, I'm not sitting on a park bench talking about prison gangs and how many people I cut up and stabbed in the face. I'm not, some kind of high-class jewel thief. Now, both of those guys, I'm mentioning Wes Watson and Larry Lawton, they make great stuff. I'm not particularly, I mean, I think it's cool. You've got a real jewel thief playing Grand Theft Auto and Payday. That's fucking dope. I would like to do that. I'd like to play with Larry Lawton. He seems like a cool guy. Wes Watson, I mean, the guy's selling protein powder. I'm sure he's killing it. You know, and he's telling his stories and, whatever. I mean, it's not for me. Putting a camera on a park bench and just, it's just not for me. Look, how many other guys in prison have 0 tattoos? I don't have a single tattoo. Let me ask you this question. You think it's easier to go to prison and survive prison and go through prison with tattoos or without? Who do you think's the majority? How many guys in prison do you think never get a tattoo? When I mentioned earlier that whatever everybody's doing, this guy right here going that way. Most of the time, it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. I'm hoping that in this case, maybe it does. But again, I'm doing this with no expectations. It isn't like, I'm breaking into the prison YouTube genre. I'm breaking into, hopefully, a different kind of genre, making something new. And again, what happens a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's take the trip. Do any non-prison content. Who wouldn't? I have lots of interests outside of prison. This right now has defined my experience. I don't want to define it in the future. And I feel like cathartically releasing some of this stuff, getting these demons out, things that I never could tell friends or family. Non-prisoner friends or family, non-convict friends or family, I think could really help me. There's a couple of stones in my mind that haven't been turned over all the way, and I need to do that. I need to get past that stuff in order to, be free, really free in my mind. I'm not 100% there yet, and I want to get there. Yanni, how do I become the coolest kid in college? Well, first of all, I'd say probably have a rocket arm and be the quarterback of the college team. That's step 1. Step 2, make lots of trick shots with that rocket arm. Step 3, I mean, sorority girls, yeah, whoever has the most is the king. They are the coolest. Step 4, I don't know, make a YouTube channel and talk about it. But step 5, dude, go to class. Please, go to class. Go to class, show up, get a GPA just good enough to get the diploma. If you want to be on the honor roll or the dean's list or whatever, that's cool too. You want to be the valedictorian? Big deal. I'll tell you this though, when you go to get the job interview and you know, unless you're the valedictorian or the salutatorian or whatever, they really don't care. Just graduate, just pass. I'm pretty sure you're not in college, but maybe you are. I'm hoping he sprinkles in some nice stories about his experience with drug use and his crime life instead of just prison. Yo, you bet your ass. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? No. Oh, drug use? Yeah, I got to. It's a huge part of my story. Like I said, it's prison junkie, not prison monkey. I mean, if it was prison monkey, I would be talking about zoo animals and maybe prison. That would be interesting. But that's an interesting twist. I highly recommend somebody, if you're watching this live stream, maybe think about doing that. Chimpanzees in prison? Who would have thought it? Oh my God. Holy shit. Whoever I'm reading right here, you are an unbelievable. You are in some serious. Woo, you are in some serious denial, honey. All right. Yanni, your greatest critic, David Krappenshit, said a lot of bad things about you. What's your response? David, I think you want to change your first name to sort of go with your last because Krappenshit's dope-ass name, 100%. Wow, very unique. Rolls off the tongue, rolls right out of the mouth, rolls right in the toilet. I love it. But David, kind of boring. Very biblical. All right, I'm going to head to sleep. Good night. Have a great night. Yeah, I already said I was going to get into the mental health end of it. I met a psych doctor socially that worked with prisoners. He said there's a bunch of people with personality disorders, but maybe that's just what he sees. Well, I'm sure he does. He's a psych doctor. I mean, can you imagine guys in prison doing years, solitary confinement, drug addicts, killers, rapists, child molesters, snitches, all that stuff roiling around, eating them up from the inside out? You think maybe that would breed a personality disorder? And let's be real. I mean, guys in prison, they're dumber. It's probably the dumbest group of people you'd ever run into. I always cracks me up when people say, "Oh man, prisoners, man, they're really they're geniuses." I mean, the things that they can build out of toilet paper rolls, buddy. Let me tell you something. You spend 6 months in solitary, you could build a jet plane out of a roll of toilet paper. Believe me. Try it sometime. You know, that'd be really interesting, man, to do a 7-day live stream or something. 5 days, 7 days, 10 days in in solitary. Like build. What if I built wait a second, I kind of did. I built a cell to stay in for 7 days. Now, with nothing. I mean, I get like maybe 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day, maybe the New Testament, and I just have to survive for 7. The only thing I can do is communicate with you. Like for example, I've been doing this for what, like an hour and a half? Imagine if I did it for, what is the math on this? I don't know, a lot of hours, almost 200 hours, right? It's like 168 hours, I think, something like that. Whew. I mean, my mouth is already parched. I cannot imagine. All right. Where are we at here? Jordan Parker, you burn so many calories in hand movements during a live stream. What do you mean I would? I have. I did. I'm doing it. Roll your own smokes, get a Top-O-Matic, saves a bunch of money. Yeah, but there's no filter, man, and they taste like shit. Why would I do that? I'll just quit. I mean, if they're going to taste that bad, I'm not smoking Mr. Hanky, okay? I'm not going to smoke a turd. If it gets that bad, I'm out. Mary Faulkner, so you blocked me for trying to get a sandwich, meaning you deserve to eat more than my kids. I didn't ask for $10. I asked for $1 from your audience. I didn't disrespect you at all. I have no idea what in the hell you're talking about. But you can ask. I always say, no expectations, but you can ask. You can always ask the question. You might not get an answer. You might not get the answer that you want, but you can always ask. LMAO, he's not on a green screen. Maybe I am on a green screen. Do you guys actually think I'm going to... Come on. I'm sure that's a green screen. LOL. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a green screen. God, you guys are all about the green... I don't know. We'll just leave it a mystery. Do you guys really think it's a green screen? I ought to put a poll up. Mary, you weren't blocked. You were timed out. I don't know what she's talking about. It looks like a still frame to me. Should I take a step back there and look at it? Maybe I should. I don't know. Should I? Or just leave it a mystery. Jesus Christ, this thing is bright. You know what's crazy is I could just do this. Whoa. Whoa. That's nuts, isn't it? Wow. It's like witness protection program. It's insane, right? Wow. Whoa. Whoa. That's creepy, right? Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Is it a green screen? I don't know. The mystery continues. The search continues. One of these days you'll find out for sure. Can't tell you now. This is number 1 on trending. What? Listen. Pee-wee video was great, though I still felt his crazy stories would have been best at the start. You know, I really thought, I wanted to give that for the fans. I wanted to give whoever's messing with me, whoever's like following my stuff, is interested in, you know, what I'm doing. I wanted to just, sure, I could have split that into 3 videos. I could have done the intro. I could have expanded that because I talked about like, the 3 things that you never want to hear as an ex-con. I could have made it 5 things and just turned that into a video. And then I could have done the Pee-wee stuff, the real deal video. And then I could have done Pee-wee's 3 craziest prison stories. And really, I think there's like 2 or 3, maybe 3 crazy stories that have nothing to do with prison and have everything to do with Pee-wee. And I think I probably could have split that. I could have gotten a lot more views. They would have been much shorter. But I wanted to do one big fat hog feast, banquet, buffet, smorgasbord for you. So if the video flopped and it failed, it's because, well, it's still because of you. Because, you know, you get it. I mean, see, so you say it undermined the drama of his phone call to the parole officer. To me, it was, I think it showed those opposing forces. You have a person who wants to present themselves in a certain way, and this is something that always happens when people get on camera until you get used to it. Somebody's on camera once, twice, 3 times. There's always going to be a veneer, just a little bit of bullshit that goes along with it. And what I wanted to do was like, hey, look, I really wanted to peel the curtain back a little bit and not just give you what you want to hear. I want to show you something else. So the gear switch back over there, that was the ride home. I mean, it's literally, or the ride to where I dropped them off. You know, that's what happened. I tried to cut it together, use what I had in as entertaining a way as possible. I know I pushed the limits. I know I went over the limit. That video would never get monetized in a million years. It's 60 minutes long. It has all sorts of horrible language in it. I mean, he's literally, you can watch the beginning when I meet him. I had no idea he had a bottle of liquor in his hoodie. I mean, I ripped him a new asshole in that video. You didn't see it because I kept it at the end. But in real life, when it happened, I was like, are you out of your mind? Why would you do that? Because I'd already complained about that before. This guy brings liquor into my car. But I thought that using that footage, just a quick snippet of it, really showed, you know, where his head and his priorities were at. And now that it's so far removed from actually happening, it's okay to put up there. And, you know, maybe I made a bad call, but that's the call I made. Johnny James, hey, good stuff, R.E., your channel. Thank you, Johnny James, I appreciate it. Good stuff, R.E., your name. JJ, love it. The Mountaineer, West Virginia. Giannis, hey, man, we're right around the corner, dude. I mean, you got, not Charlestown, but Inwood and Martinsburg, and yeah, it's all right around the corner from me. No, there's no background noise in the live stream. Maybe they were referring to the video where you said you added music to cover the wind. Listen, I went through a million different permutations, a million different algorithms and equalization of all this stuff with the noise, and it just, there were just a few shots. It was just, you couldn't do anything with it. I mean, I tried and tried, and maybe a professional audio engineer could have done something with it. Maybe with more practice, I could do a better job of it. But that is a problem I promise you I will never run into again because I have a completely different approach. You'll just have to trust me. All right. Yes, I move my hands around a lot. It is, it's crazy. Is there any chance that you and 23andOne can do a collaborative video or KFrog TV? I don't know KFrog TV. I'm open to do collaborations with anyone. Why wouldn't I be? I mean, if PewDiePie wants to do a collaboration, why not? If I watch very little YouTube, so I really don't know like who is popular and. But anybody, yeah, sure. There's always like a cool angle to that, and I would definitely be open to giving it a shot. I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? By the way, Nintendo of America loves having YouTubers visit and tour their facility. There's your excuse to visit YouTube. I mean, I'm not really a YouTuber, but that would be cool. Any prison fighting stories involving you getting stomped or stomping someone, or were you pretty chill? You obviously didn't watch the first full video that I uploaded. Go watch that and then ask me a question. The answer is just go watch the video. All right, Joe Gaskill, this is great and all, but Cops is about to come on, so stay up, Yanni. The only time I ever watched Cops is when I was locked up. That's it. I mean, that's it. And it's really if somebody else picks it. I mean, if you've seen like 8 Cops episodes, you've seen them all. I mean, have fun. I mean, Jesus Christ, out of all the things, I don't believe you. There's no way in hell that anyone on the street is watching Cops. You might watch a clip of it on the internet. Who the hell even watches TV anymore anyway? Give me a break. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. All right. Dot to dot. I was replying to somebody else in the conversation. Okay. You need to. I'm lost. All right. Anyway, moving on. Eaten by ghouls. People think because you are an APS like a year or more ago that you do everything Joe does, hence why people talking about house. Look, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I'm not flipping a house. I couldn't flip a car. I might be able to flip this microphone over. That's about it. Done. Maybe this little can, it's almost empty. Oh, God, I'm parched. You don't have to worry about that. But look, let me tell you that it completely makes sense in regards to house flipping. You know, if somebody were to want to switch gears who is in the prison YouTube genre, and I really don't know what you're talking about, but if they did, why not? I mean, why not? It may not work for their audience, but I mean, you know, once you build the money up and you've done it for a long time, it makes perfect sense to go ahead and do something else. I mean, nobody wants to do if especially if you hate what you're doing. I don't know if that person does or they don't, but it's completely understandable that they'd want to shift gears and do something else. So that's my opinion on it. Again, you don't have to worry about me doing it, but I get it. All right. Can you show your sobriety board clock? I saw a glimpse of it on an interview you did and really liked the idea, but couldn't find anything similar on the internet that I liked as much. You have to make it. You got to make it. So it's top of like one of those wagon wheel style tables, or you can take like take a pallet and take a circular saw, cut it around, pull the nails out, jam it together, and then maybe take the circular saw. I mean, that's the way I did it. If you know how to join wood, you know, just a couple slats on the bottom, use a little drill to punch out some holes, don't go all the way in, and then put your chips in. It's not really that hard. Just make it, dude. You've got plenty of time. It's COVID. You've got plenty of believe me, you can find time to do it. You probably make it in about an hour. Not a big deal. All right. Stephen Birdwell says, just joining, so I don't know if you've been over this, but I think folks want to know. Since most of us met you through, can you tell us what happened? Because we have, I'm not getting into that. For what? For what? What is the point? You've always been a likable guy, but you have always been your own worst enemy as well. I can relate, LOL. Well, I'm glad you know so much about me personally. You're not wrong, but How would you know? I don't know. Whatever. Walt Liquor. Man, these names are absolutely fire, dude. Walt Liquor. I mean, dude, that's what I should have named the channel. Walt Liquor. Walt Liquor Bull. Hey, man, I was doing dope in the late 90s, early 2000s. Been through detox, methadone, 20 bag a day problem. Been clean for 15 years. Good luck to you. Hey, Walt Liquor. I mean, definitely. Your name says it all. I definitely believe that you've been clean for 20 years. Perfect name, perfect result. Congratulations on the 15 years. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. Red Oxygen, thoughts on Lord have mercy. Why do you need my thoughts? You have your own thoughts, right? You have your own opinions. Is my opinion going to change your opinion about something someone else is doing? Is it? If it is, and I'm just pulling it out of the air, take a look at yourself. Seriously. Do your own thinking. I know I'm going to offend a lot of people when I say that, but seriously, do your own thinking. Don't rely on someone else to guide your boat. The evidence, the truth, the stuff, it's out there. You got to dig. You know, you can have somebody feed it to you, and that's the easy way. Let's not try the easier, softer way. This is program, Yanni, coming out, but let's not try the easier, softer way. Let's try to do it the hard way. Because if it is hard, we do things to grow because they're hard, not because they're easy. If they're easy, we don't grow. If they're hard, we do. If we struggle, we grow. It's just like building muscle. You rip it up, you tear it down, you build it back up. You replenish it, you sleep, you put the nutrients in there, and you build it up. You get bigger. You get where you want to be. So don't rely on me to direct your attention. I really couldn't tell you. Sarah Kay says, you seem to know things about health, so maybe you can do videos about that, or maybe conspiracy theories would be cool too. This is hilarious because somebody brought this up to me the other day, and it is, I honestly, dude, the conspiracy theories, really, I mean, other than, you know what I have a problem with is people labeling flat earth as a conspiracy. You and I both know, just think about it for a second. When you look up in the air, do you see any curve? Huh? When you walk on the ground, don't you think you'd be leaning if the whole thing was a ball? So in my mind, what people call conspiracy theories are just big facts. Flat earth. Get with it, homies. One thing, General Jones says, one thing that will help this channel is other channels giving you a mention. Do you know a guy that knows a guy? I know lots of guys. If all they know are guys, you know, that's not how I roll. I tend to stay away from that. I tend to know guys that know girls because I'm more into that. That's just me. You do you. I honestly don't care if anybody mentions me or not. I just don't. Born Mush Ella. Crypt Rick, question, how corrupted are the guards and other staff in prison? Well, I mean, it's like anybody else. I mean, they're there. I mean, they're there. If there's $1 to be made in the joint, now the thing is tobacco. Drugs are out of style as far as smuggling right now because why do it? You can't have tobacco in any system. Guys are willing to pay $3, $4, for a roll up. They might be willing to pay $5, $6, $7 for, a skeeter leg of weed or herb or whatever tree. But why do that when you can just get tobacco? You're not going to get a charge. You smuggle tobacco into the facility. They might not even fire you. They probably will, but you're not going to jail. You didn't work. You didn't come to prison to go to prison. So, you can go get another job, but it's really tough to get a job in the free world when you're locked up. I can tell you that. I've been there. Doesn't work. D. Adams, that would actually be fun if he did a 7-day stream. Fun isn't the word. It would be something. It would be something. I don't know if fun would be what I would use to describe it, but maybe. Rickism, salute from Australia. Australia, home of one of my favorite movies. Mad Max Fury Road, the best action movie of the last 10 years. The last 10 years. I don't, that's horrible, I'm sorry. Stephen Birdwell, Yanni, you're crazy as well. I mean, I told you that. I already told you that. You know that. Okay. LOL, shots fired, maybe. Not by me. Pee Wee video was awesome. I mean, it's just a video, not a shot at anything. It is what it is. I mean, I put it out there. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Just a video. Oh, wow. Hey, Jose Avia says, Yanni, baby, do you, bro?
Jose, I will do me. You will not do it.
We're not doing each other. That wasn't even, I don't even know what that was. I'm sorry, Jose. Please forgive me. D. Adams, no. Vote no. Sarah K. I also think that you would be entertaining doing reaction videos. Why? Is it because my face is kind of, you know, is it kind of rubbery? Do I have... Why? Oh! Reaction video. Hey, let's pretend this is a reaction video. Oh! Oh! Yeah! Just plug those in. Make little GIFs or GIFs. I say, I've been around this person that says GIF. It ain't GIF, it's GIF. Take those, plug them in. There's your reaction video. There's 4. You can slow them down, speed them up to your heart's content, make your own YouTube channel out of my reactions. That would be, I'd like to react to that. Reaction to a reaction video. Huh? I mean, or a reaction to a reaction to a reaction video. I mean, we could just keep doing this forever. It's like a reflection inside of a reflection inside of a reflection. It's like a hall of mirrors. Where does it stop? Where does it end? Nobody knows. It's all about the journey. Let's go. Tyler Sweet, what sort of work will you be looking for? The easiest and highest paying kind. That's what me, you know. What else? Cryptorick, your thoughts on COVID and the division between people wearing and not wearing a mask? I'm not going to get into that. And the state of the world at the moment. I've already mentioned it. I mean, me personally, I want to make sure if there's a 0.0000001% chance, and don't crucify me, that I can not pass something to someone else. You have to understand I'm in a unique situation in that my autoimmune system is in horrible, horrible, horrible shape. So in that case, for me, just to be on the safe side, you know, it's a mask. You know, obviously there isn't a law that tells you what you should and shouldn't do. I think maybe the courteous, nice thing would probably be to do it. On the other hand, I live in the country. It doesn't really bother me that much. I live by myself. So, you know, that is what it is. I don't know. You know, I don't know. Does the mask do anything? Does it not do anything? I think if it, maybe it does something, then why not err on the side of caution? That's just my take on it. I don't feel that strongly about it either way. And of course, you guys could get into, well, people are protesting that spread COVID. And yeah, of course. I mean, look, if you get close together, doesn't matter if you're doing something right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, people are tightly packed, and if that's how it spreads, then that's probably a problem. So, I'm trying to figure out, just like you guys are, what's right, what's wrong, what's indifferent, what should I do, what I shouldn't do. And that's largely why I really have stayed away from everyone. I've lived a life like a fucking hermit for the last 6 months. But that's kind of why I needed to do this, because I'm going crazy. And maybe if I share my crazy with you, you share your crazy with me, we'll become less crazy. But it might go the other way. We might just end up killing each other. We'll see. Yanni, your thoughts on the beast Danny making a video confronting his abuser? What in the, first of all, cool name. What is he, like a wrestler? Is he a wrestler who was like sexually abused? The Beast Danny. Is that a horror movie? Is that the sequel to Mandy? I don't know. That's interesting. That's a really cool movie, by the way. Mandy, Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is, boy, he's something else. What a crazy movie. Stephen Birdwell. Oh boy, here. Hell, I know, because you have been putting all your business on the internet for the past, say, 3 or 4 years. We know you pretty good, and that's what happens when you display yourself to us. Have you hacked my phone? Do you have a way to see inside my Android, and therefore my pants, Stephen Birdwell? Is that what you're talking about? I've exposed myself to you. I displayed myself to you. Really? I really have? I honestly don't think that the way I am, this is me unchained right here, right now. If you have honestly seen me in this way, I don't think that maybe you have, but maybe you have. Maybe I'm confused. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like people like to have their opinions validated by other people before they feel comfortable voicing them, and that's okay. Eaten by ghouls. Yanni Flat Earther confirmed. That was confirmed earlier. I'm definitely a flat earther, and I honestly despise and do not even understand or comprehend anyone who isn't. It's obvious, right? Rickism, it's really great to see you back. How long have you been clean? Sorry if you've already been asked this. I have not actually been asked this, and that's on my own personal private business, but I'm going to make it your business since I display everything to you anyway. Why not be completely transparent? So I'm going to share 100% my complete journey. I also have to be careful about, I am on probation after all. So I got to be selective about what I say and what I don't say. Just please understand that I've been sober for quite some time. That being said, I'm a human being and I'm working my way, through all this stuff. So maybe I've never used. I don't. Okay, that's not true. Lee McQueen says, watch Eric Dubay if you want some interesting facts on flat earth. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson won't debate him. I don't know who Eric Dubay is. I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson. He did the Cosmos Show, which was really cool. I actually saw a couple of episodes, I want to say, when I was, back in jail. He seems like a really smart guy. I mean, if he won't debate Eric Dubay must be right about everything. I mean, Eric Dubay he probably makes Stephen Hawking look like a complete moron. I've never heard of him before, but I already told you about flat earth. I mean, it's idiotic to think otherwise. I mean, you've got to believe that all those live streams that NASA does in like the 8K footage and everything, I mean, those are obviously faked. It's Photoshop, right? Animated stuff. Jurassic Park. I mean, are dinosaurs real? Not anymore. I mean, maybe they were, but I mean, the bones and how they were assembled and everything else. I mean, somebody decided to kind of put them together that way. I mean, how many complete dinosaur skeletons or, carcasses or bodies have ever really been found? Any? Probably none. It's all a sham. It's all a sham. JLZ, shout me out. Yanni been subbing since the start, man. You the best, bro. I know you is too, JLZ. You my dude, bro. You my dude, man. Keep rocking, keep subbing. I guess you can't keep subbing, but the fact that you sub once really says a lot about your taste, your good taste. You make good decisions, and I respect that. Now, one of the things with me being sick is I actually get these weird hand cramps. In my joints and my elbows and my hand, and sometimes I'll make a gesture and they'll literally lock. And so right now I yeah, it's whatever. I just look at it kind of like the T-1000 was looking at the mannequin in Terminator 2. I know that's an old reference, but he's just like, and that's how I look at it. It was frightening the first couple times it happened. Now it's just amusing. Walt Liquor, don't watch anything on Flat Earth. It's been smashed a million times. I love the people who believe it. That's great. Rickism, haha, Reaction Yanni was hilarious. Reaction channels are trash. Haha, Reaction channels. Look, I'm going to do this. Reaction Yanni was hilarious. Reaction channels are trash. Rickism. Ism is good. It's like a schism. Rick Schism. Opposing forces, bipolar. Anyway, King Malice, what up, King? I bow to the king. You are the king. Have you ever done DMT? Maybe I have. Maybe I'm on it right now. I mean, how in the hell else would I go on for 2 hours, as sick as I am? It has to be the DMT. It has to be. They say that it opens your mind. It expands everything to new possibilities. It slows down time. It speeds up time. You can actually go through wormholes. Maybe I'm on it right now. Maybe I'm not even here. Maybe it is a green screen. Maybe it isn't green screen. Maybe it's both. Have you ever thought about that? Mandela effect, string theory? Think about it. DMT. Let's talk later. All right. Crypto, thank you for raking the time to answer my questions. I mean, I don't even know where to go with that. Jason Thompson, all right, I've been watching for an hour and 40 minutes now. It is 3 a.m. here, and I have to be up in 2 hours to go to work in 3. I mean, why not make it another 2 hours, right? I mean, what are you really going to do with your life? Forget it. Forget it, Jason. Fuck work. Are you an essential worker? All right, busted wallet garage. People don't wear a mask equals my kids can't go to school equals I hit maskless shoppers with my buggy in Kroger. That's one way to go about it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and judge you. That being said, if you do hit maskless shoppers with your buggy, and I call it a cart, and the buggy I think is a southern thing, or maybe it's I forget. I want a video. I want to see that. You want a reaction video? Reaction video to the busted wallet garage hitting maskless shoppers with his buggy in Kroger, which, oh, by the way, Kroger, miss it. We don't have Krogers in Virginia. We had them in Atlanta. When I lived in Atlanta, Kroger was a nice grocery store, along with Publix. Publix is amazing too, but we don't have either one of those here. We're kind of stuck with Food Line and Martin's, I mean, which I'd never heard of till I moved to Northern Virginia, and it sucks. Anyway, all right. Got any videos in the Bammer, Yanni? I actually... I do. I'm working on one tomorrow, though, that I think is going to be a little more acceptable, like a little more mainstream. I'm never going to be super mainstream, but I want it to be able to be consumed, enjoyed, digested, thought about, you know, by a larger group of people. And we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But definitely, yeah, I'm absolutely have a couple in the Bammer. Okay, Jason Thompson, 3.5 hours. I'll be 40. Okay, whatever. Thanks for hanging. Cheyenne Hill, Yanni has an Android lost coolness points. Really? Okay, whatever. I do have an iMac, so I kind of split the difference. I have a Mac and I have an Android. It's probably the dumbest combination. Who in the hell does that? Who has a Mac and an Android, or an iPhone and a PC? None of it makes sense. But again, if you're going this way, I'm going that way. Why? Well, my autoimmune system is kind of fucked up, so I have to think about that. All right. Ben Destroyer, I've exposed. 2 weeks jail and a year probation, not fun. Boy, those are stiff consequences. What did you do? Jaywalk? You didn't pay a parking ticket? I mean, that's serious business, man. Hopefully you never go back, seriously. All right, General Jones, you need anything, Yanni? You got a PO. I don't know what that means. Busted Wallet Garage. What happened to that nice, that took care of your Twitter while you were on vacation?
What happened to that nice that took care of your Twitter while you were on vacation?
Maybe nothing happened to her. Probably nothing, but probably scared that maybe somebody might mess with my that. Now that my mind is on vacation. All right, Rickism. I mean, you guys are dominating this. I struggle with addiction, so I understand you not wanting to go into it much. No, I'm going to go all the way into it. Have you not been paying attention? I can get addicted to anything. I can get addicted to making this face. Anything. Eating clean, working out, playing Rocket League, doing drugs, being intense, growing a beard, wearing the same hat for 5 years. I can get compulsive, addictive, and crazy about anything. Anything. I probably have the most addictive, compulsive personality known to anyone that I know. I mean, it's a problem. You can use it to your advantage sometimes, but it is not, I am not saying I'm not going to talk about addiction. Are you kidding me? I've had 9 hospitalized heroin overdoses. I haven't thought about a video. My top 10 heroin overdoses, and then I'd leave 10, I'd leave that blank. You know, it's kind of like a reserved RSVP or just a slot to hopefully never be filled later. I love dogs. I love dogs. I do not have a pet because where I live, they're not allowed. For religious reasons, it's a long story. Why do you guys keep retracting your messages? I have no idea. Eaten by ghouls. High quality comments only. Squirrel turds. Am I at the end of this? Finally. You're an interesting guy. You're an interesting dude. LOL. There are Krogers in Virginia. There aren't any here. I have not seen any. I think there is one in Chesapeake. Yanni running out of message content to reply to. That is true. And Rickism right there with your pals. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I'm going to leave for about 5 minutes and I'm going to get some water. And, or maybe I ought to just end it, just in case you guys have anything else you want to talk about. I see that there are 48 people still in the chat. You tell me what you think. The first person that answers, let me know. Should I take 5 minutes, get some water, take a little break, maybe wipe the sweat off my brow, or should I? And I'll leave you some music. That's the kind of guy I am. I'm willing to do that. I'm not going to just leave you hanging with nothing. I'm going to give you the green screen, and I'm going to give you some music. What do you think? You want me to just shut it down? Or what? Will I do a hurricane reaction video from the beat? Yeah, Coke break. That's what it is. A Diet Coke break. They didn't ask me how I was doing with addiction earlier. There are days that I struggle. Okay, look, let me tell you this. The last video that I did, the last video that I shot, and if I mentioned it earlier that I had a real problem morally with some of the stuff that came out, and should I or should I not present it? Yeah, I would have got a bunch of views. This is really explosive stuff. But I had to really analyze, like, am I hurting this person? Am I doing more harm than good? I think it would have helped more people than it hurt this person, and the good of the many outweighs the good of the few, or the one. But I didn't want to test it. And like I said, I'll keep it, I'll hang on to it. But in this particular situation, I wanted to put myself in the most dangerous spot I possibly could so I could see if I would survive. Now, I talked to my therapist about this, and she said, "You're out of your mind." I said, "Tell me something I don't know." Really? I'm out of my mind? Huh, shocker. Now, is that a crazy thing to do? I'm sure it is, but I really wanted to test myself to see if I was strong enough in my recovery and sobriety to make it through. And I did, and I did make it through. But ultimately, it ended up being kind of 3 or 4 days where I don't have anything to show for it in terms of content other than this story. But yeah, I mean, addiction, I don't struggle with it every day. I feel like I'm pretty far away from a drink or a drug. But there are some days, today I'm far away from it. Tomorrow might be something different. You know, I do have to do the maintenance, and I'll tell you what it is. And a lot of it has nothing to do with the program of AA or NA. Me personally, I really had to seek some outside help. I got it, and I'm still working on it. Also, I'm terrified to lose my life. My health is in really precarious shape. My body is, it doesn't matter that I'm clean now. Sometimes you might be through with the past, but the past ain't through with you. And I'm living proof of that now. You know, sometimes you just can't unwind the clock. The damage has already been done, and I'm hoping that I can see myself through this. You know, and we'll see. I don't know for sure yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm 100% committed to, you know, to staying sober, and I'm 100% committed to, you know, helping people that, you know, want to get sober. And if you don't, that's cool too. I respect that. No judgment here at all. At all. All right. So is that fair enough, Rick? Stay. Water, come back. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know if my computer might explode. Like I said, it's 10 years old. It's 9.5 years old going on 10. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and take I'm gonna take 5 minutes, maybe 7. Give you some music. 5 to 7 minutes. I'll be back. The Apple Blossom Festival this year. That's true. Yeah, it's true. In Winchester, for those of you who don't know, it's home to a lot of apple orchards and and like applesauce factories, like White House applesauce. This is where they make it. This is the Winchester apples. I mean, that's what we're known for here. But it is beautiful country, man. We're really close to the Shenandoah Valley. Amazing hiking, which is something that I've gotten into and I'd like to get back into once I'm 100% healthy and cleared. I can't even exercise right now. You got to understand, man, I went through a period of time where in 6 days I put on 30 pounds. I literally went from mid 160s to like 194. I was like 163 to 194. And then the next 6 days, I went from 193 to 161. So I put on 30 some odd pounds and then lost even more. So it was very, 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 very caustic to my body. I couldn't hold down food. I couldn't even drink a sip of coffee for weeks. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of whittled myself down to nothing, and I also, my muscles atrophied to a great degree. And those of you who are aware of me or, you know, I've exposed myself to you, you probably know that I do like to stay in shape. I'm no Wes Watson, you know, I'm not going to have veins busted out of my chest, but reasonably decent shape, like a normal human being. Not saying he's not normal. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not going to go that far with it. But yeah, that's definitely something I would like to get back into. It's just, I'm just waiting for clearance. So anyway, so I'm going to take five or 10 minutes. Play some music. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to take off. If not, I'll try and keep it going for maybe another 20 or 30 minutes. We'll let the comments build up a little bit. And if you've got something interesting to say, an interesting question, interesting thought, interesting idea you'd like to see a video on, you'd like to see a video on from me, please share it. I'll read it. I promise you I'll take a look at it. And, you know, and maybe I'll use it. Maybe I'll use it. I ought to do a poll and see what's the one video that you want to see. I already know what the answer is. What's the number 2? I already know the answer. What's the number 3? We might have to get down to like number, oh my God. I told you I was going to flip a mic. So maybe we'll take it down to like number 15, number 20. I don't know. That's probably how far we'd have to get without you guys mentioning you know what. So anyway, without further ado, the music, please. The energy to be a sheet metal guy. What does that even mean? I mean, that's crazy. All right. All right, so here we go. Are we good? Can you guys hear me? Okay? No? Let's see. Let me make some adjustments here. All right. Yeah, it's just water, man. I mean, my tongue, I mean, it's disgusting. I don't want you, somebody out there's kind of screen cap that, maybe zoom in on it. It is part of the illness that I have is that get extremely dehydrated. It's not the, do I have anything here? Anything? Yeah, okay. I'm back. All right. Let's start with Johnny James. Yeah, I thought you just bought the same hat over and over again. Why do you think that I don't? I don't understand. Maybe I do. The dog will look good with the green screen. What are we even talking about? You guys can hear me though, right? All right, so I'm going to race through this real quick. If you guys cannot keep up, and I get it, most people can't, that's not my problem. Again, that's your problem. Well, I do a hurricane reaction video from the beach. You know what's interesting about this is back during Hurricane, I want to say it was Isabel. Was it Isabel? Norfolk was flooded. And of course, me being the fly in the face of danger kind of guy, I actually did go. I swam, and I think we had like VHS cameras back then, or it was like Super 8 or something. It may have been the late 90s or maybe 2000. I didn't have a digital camera, and camera phones really weren't a thing back then. And so it was like this big honking, high 8mm Super VHS style camera. And so we actually swam into the traffic. It was that deep. I mean, there were cars like completely submerged. And yeah, so I actually had a housing on one of these cameras that you could go underwater. You couldn't see anything because it's not like the Bahamas, you know what I mean? There's no sunlight. It was full at night, but it was an interesting idea. And then I went down to the beach and was kind of leaning into the sun. Actually, somebody mentioned sheet metal, and I actually did almost get hit by a piece of aluminum or something in an alleyway. The wind was blowing through on Virginia Beach. It was blowing in between two buildings right from, I guess, Atlantic to the boardwalk. And man, there was, just inside of this sort of vortex, this tornado spot. And yeah, I almost did get hit. I probably would have been decapitated. I made it through it, and I got to the ocean front, and CNN was out there shooting some footage along with a couple of local news broadcasters, and they were kind of like, the whole premise was, what the hell are these idiots doing out here? And I was one of the idiots, and I just wanted to see if I could lean into the wind, because I think it was like gusts of 120, consistent sustained winds of 90 to 100 miles per hour, and you could literally lean into the wind and not fall over, like, and it would just keep you up. It was awesome. Okay, so we kind of went back there. Did you ever see the movie Shot Caller? Is there any truth to it? I've never seen Shot Caller. I don't even know who's in it. I've heard of it, never seen it. Is there any truth to it? I mean, like any movie, I mean, I'm sure there's a kernel or nugget of truth to it, but is it like completely accurate? I mean, it's a movie. It's not a documentary. So I don't know. Maybe I'd watch it. Maybe I'd do a reaction video to Shot Caller. Is it Shock Caller or Shot Caller? Shot Caller. Okay. It was an exhibitionist fetish. Binda Destroyer says it was an exhibitionist fetish. That was 10 years ago. And I'm not going back. Anyway, Night Dude, remember me because I've followed a long time and will continue to follow. Peace. Okay, cool. Johnny James, stay. I did. I'm not going to stay much longer, but here I am. Asshole says more. Well, here we go. Take 5 and come back. I did. SB says, I'm a proud alcoholic. Like I said, man, this is a judgment-free zone. Do you? I mean, if you want to saturate your liver and die 15 years too young, that is your business, man. I am not going to stop you. However, if you decide to change and look for a better way, man, I'm here for you, buddy. I'll always be here. If you change your mind, I'll be here for you. Go watch the sunrise. The sun, I believe, has risen. You got to look out for Rickism says you got to look out for number one. Release the video when you feel it's the right time. That's exactly what I said. I agree with you 100%, 110%. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. King Mouse is proud of you, man. Thank you, King. Maybe if I go a little bit longer, you'll knight me. Maybe. All right, Busted Wall Garage. Enjoy the. I'm not saying I don't subscribe to AANA. That is a portion, that is a part of my recovery. I'm not saying I don't subscribe to it. I do. But it's not the turnkey solution for me. I do get some outside help, a lot of it, and it's not all AA. All right. Busted Wallet Garage. Okay, here we go. Some convicts get money to go to trade school. Will they pay for you to go to flight or air traffic control schools? I seriously, come on. Really? Flight or air traffic control schools? It's interesting as I actually know, or used to know, a lot of air traffic controllers because I was in a fantasy football league with like 8 of them. What the hell was I doing there? I don't know, but I was. Would you want him controlling commercial? Would you want him? No, you don't want me controlling commercial air traffic. King Malice, if it were live stream, absolutely. Okay. Is he coming back? I am back. Johnny, Jason Thompson, I thought you were leaving. Go to work, get some money, take care of your family, take care of yourself for Christ's sake. My God, man, go to work. There's a sheet metal comment. Helen Delatorre, so classy. Yanni is pooping. I don't even like saying that word, pooping. Pooping. I mean, it's just like, I feel like a little kid saying pooping. It's just, I can't even. Here in Australia, we now have an 8 p.m. lockdown curfew, spelled with a PH. Is that Australian for, is that, because I know Australians and English people, they spell things a little bit differently. Like color and color. C-O-L-O-U-R. Color. Calour. I'm sorry. I'm all for freedom, and this is against my human rights. What does an American think? I don't know. We're kind of mixed on human rights. We sure as hell don't care about Australian rights. I mean, no offense. I mean, all you guys have are what, the only thing Australia produces is what, like the kangaroo punching videos and wallop. No, I'm just kidding, man. And Mad Max. I'm gonna look. You're in my cool book forever. Mad Max, you're good. Love it. No sound. It says no sound. Oh, sound. Hey, Jack Jones 191 says, hey Yanni, do you think? No, not really. Not really. No. Do I think somebody's a? How could you? How could you possibly? I'm not even going to address it, but the answer is no. I don't. I'm near Durham, North Carolina. If you're down for a hurricane road trip, I'm down, bro. Okay. Born Mush. Jamie Lannister is in it. I'm assuming you're talking about the Shot Caller movie. If that guy is the one playing Shot Caller and you're expecting that to be real, I mean, look, I'm not gay. I'm not that gay. I mean, I've been to prison, so I mean, obviously there's an element, come on. But Jamie Lannister, I mean, that's a good-looking dude. I mean, let's be real. You don't see too many guys that look like, super male model types in prison. It just, it's not the years, man. It's the mileage. Odin says, good morning to you, my friend. It's a great morning. It's a fantabulous morning. What a morning it is. Good morning, my friend. I'm the same. I'm not completely clean, but NAAA just wasn't for me. This isn't about me, though. We want to hear about you. Well, that was my attitude at one point, that this wasn't for me. It was repetitious. It was the same thing over and over again. It's just people complaining about the... My advice to you would be to... Don't just go to the meeting, okay? When I first went to the meetings, and I've been going to meetings court-ordered, and for other reasons, saving relationships, pleasing the family, trying to find out something for myself, not really staying sober and going to meetings. maybe a couple days here and there, and going to meetings. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. If you just sit in the meeting and you look at the wall and you look at the steps, it doesn't make any sense. I initially thought, oh, this is just something that you read. You do this every day, and that's what you do. And that's not what it is at all. It's completely different. It's much more involved than that. And you need someone to guide you through it. Just like when I mentioned that 12-step call with that individual I was shooting a video with and on. I just wasn't prepared at that point in time to serve that kind of role. And you're not prepared to make that decision until you give it a full-blown shot. My recommendation to you would be to find a sponsor, work steps 1, 2, and 3, get through 4 and 5, and then after 5, if you say it's not for you, you've given it a fair shot. Or go through the entire 12 steps, have a sponsor guide you through it, and then make that determination. But I think unless you at least get through step 5, you really can't make the declaration that this isn't for me, because you really haven't done it. You don't really know what this is. So that's where I'm at with it. All right. Mark Fox, what are your thoughts on the methadone program? This is a great question, and I'm actually doing a video. I don't want to do the title because somebody might beat me to it, but I have some very good information because I've been through methadone, and I've been through Subutex, and I've been through Suboxone. And I would like to compare all of those three from a personal perspective, my personal experience, which one is the most effective. And I have a very clear winner out of methadone, Subutex, and Suboxone. Very clear. One of them is head and shoulders above the rest for me. I do think that there is a lot of value with methadone. I'll put it to you that way. Obviously, like everything else, you have to do it the right way. I mean, it's kind of like working out, but eating McDonald's all day, every day. You're probably not going to get the results that you want. You know, with methadone, you're going to have to take the methadone, and you're going to have to not do the other drugs. You're going to have to not do the benzos. You're not going to have to do the fentanyl, which might get on top of methadone. And that's the game changer for the whole drug world, is that fentanyl gets on top of everything. You do enough fentanyl, it'll get on top of Suboxone, Subutex, methadone, you name it. So there's this very specific routine and approach that one would need to go into that situation with any of those programs, whether it's Suboxone, methadone, Subutex, and I will get into that in a video because, as I said, yes, there's a prison element to this because I've done 7 years. I've been locked up 7 years. I have plenty of prison and jail stories and plenty of prison and jail material. What's different is that I also am a recovering addict and alcoholic, and so therefore I have a lot of experiences to share there as well, whereas I think a lot of other people in this genre, they don't really have that. They don't. So it's about time that somebody did. And I am that guy. Okay, a bunch of stuff about F3 stop motion. Greetings from New Jersey. Keep it up, bro. I will, man. And you keep it. You just keep keeping it Guido. All right? You keep keeping it Guido, and I'll keep keeping it real. Or whatever the hell it is that you said, because I'm unbelievably tired. SB says, I miss Letterman. I don't even know what that means. If you're talking about David Letterman, yeah. Are you talking about Harold Letterman, the scorecard guy from the boxing matches? Hey, Larry, look, 4 rounds to 3. I mean, I've got Roy Jones over Antonio Tarver. I mean, look, he's just, it's punches and bunches. He's going to bring generalship. I mean, you look at the diesel. Larry, I got 4, Jones 4 to 3. But, you can see it either way. Harold Letterman, how do you have it? None of you guys know what that is, probably. All right, my thoughts on Dome is that it is worse than heroin in every way, and heroin should be available instead and issued the same way. All drugs must and one day will be decriminalized. Johnny James, you and I park our cars in the very same garage. I think it is absolutely absurd and ridiculous that people are doing time over simple possession of any quote-unquote narcotic drug. It is a disease, it is a sickness, it is an illness. Now, of course, other crimes are associated with that drug use, but again, we're talking about dealing with the foundation and the root of the problem. And in order to do that, yes, decriminalization is a very big deal. And in fact, I'll tell you, if I lived in California, I probably, you could probably add up my whole criminal record. I don't know if I ever would have done any time. Living in Virginia, things are changing. But I'm still on probation for what is now considered to be a misdemeanor because the law has changed multiple times. 2018, the law changed. The threshold went up. 2020, the law changed. The threshold went up. But here I am, what is now considered a misdemeanor, still on felony probation, still subject to felony violations. I have literally done 5 years in prison for what is now a misdemeanor. And I'm still on felony probation for what is now a misdemeanor. So yeah, I have a thing or two to say about that. Bet your ass I do. King Malice, in my opinion, that movie Felon was closest to being an accurate, I would imagine you meant depiction, it says reception of what you go through mentally, and I think that, I have seen Felon, Stephen Dorff, Val Kilmer, good movie. Very simple, not a lot to it, meat and potatoes, nuts and bolts film, but Felon is is it the most accurate depiction of what you go through mentally? I would highly recommend you check out Runaway Train. To me, prison and how it affects a person who's done a lot of time. Runaway Train. Jon Voight, unbelievable performance. It's one of my very favorite scenes when Jon Voight is talking about cleaning that spot. And you got Eric Roberts and he's like, hey, Manny, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a bunch of bitches, and I'm going to make a score, and I'm going to do all these, man, I'm going to have a great. And Manny says to him, you ain't going to do none of that shit. You're going to go find a job. You're going to get a job that a convict to do, only a convict to do. Like sweeping floors, or shining floors, mopping floors or something. And you're going to take that job. And your boss, one of these days, he's going to tell you, oh, over there, you missed the spot. Oh, right over there. You missed the spot over there, too. Oh, yeah, right over there. And you're gonna clean that spot. And you're going to wipe that spot. You're going to get it nice and shiny clean. And when you go home, you pick up your paycheck. And and then he says, you're gonna clean that spot. You're going to get that thing nice and shiny clean. And you're going to take all that pain, all that pride, because you just want to take him. You want to take his head, you're going to beat the shit out of him. You're going to take all that, you're going to swallow it. And on Friday, you pick up your paycheck. And if you could do that, you could run Chase Manhattan, you could run corporations, if you could do that. And then the other guy says, Eric Roberts, he says, I could never do that shit. Man, Manny, could you do that? The first says, I couldn't do that shit. And the man says, more's the pity. Well, could you do that shit? And he looks him straight in the eye and he says, I wish I could. I wish I could. And that's it. In a nutshell, that's it. Because when you get out here and you have to adapt to being around civilians, normal people, and you've been in situations where you've had to fight for your life, and you have had to pretend to be something that you're not, at what point do you become something else? Because whatever you went in as, if you've done any sort of time, believe me, when you come out, it's going to be a completely different thing. And you can't unwind that clock. You can't get in the time machine and go back. And sometimes the damage that has been done psychologically up here, there's no fixing it. I mean, unless you climb the mountain. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to climb the mountain. So to me, that performance, Runaway Train, that particular scene that I'm paraphrasing it. I didn't get all the lines right, but that's it, man. That's the scene. That's it. See, so we're making progress, Rick, already in this chat, man. If we can make progress with just you, nobody else, or maybe somebody who's reading this, or somebody's watching this that isn't a part of the chat, and maybe they'll watch it later. Maybe I will leave this thing up. Maybe I will. Because you said, fair point, I never had a good sponsor. You know, you got to ask yourself, were you ever a good sponsee? Because let's face it, you can't sit around waiting for everyone else to do the work for you. You got to put it in yourself. How bad do you want it? Are you going to go after it as hard as you did those drugs? Are you going to go after it as hard as you did that alcohol? Are you going to drive as fast to that liquor store right before it closes at midnight? Are you going to break every law to get there because you need that last bottle, that last pint, that last fifth, that last handle? If you're not willing to go that hard for it, well, buddy or baby, whoever it is I'm talking to, it ain't going to happen. You're going to play games with it. You're going to chip away here, chip away there. Oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. And it's going to eat at you the whole time. It's going to eat at you, eat at you. You're going to start thinking, my mouth is really dry, that you can take control. I'm back in the driver's seat now. All this other stuff, all these other people, all these other problems. I mean, that was ancient history. That's not the future. That's not today. I need a little bit of relief. I worked hard today. I deserve this. I brought home a good paycheck. I bought a house. I started a business. That guy didn't start a business. You start comparing yourself to other people, maybe other people in the meetings. Well, I'm not as fucked up as that guy. That chick over there, look at her. She's getting high and she's pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I take care of my kids. I put food in their mouth. Keep comparing yourself to other people. And that's going to be the end of you. Believe me, I've been there. Yanni, you should really look up Patrick Ridge's YouTube channel. Just type in Patrick Ridge. I think you guys would get along great. Maybe we would. I have no idea who that is. Again, I'm open to any and all possibilities. I rule nothing out. I never say never. Unless it's child touching. That I say never to. But there's a few things. And so here you are asking the questions. You guys are, I'm telling you, you're relentless. I don't blame you. Curiosity killed the cat. I guess, curiosity killed the Cristo. Possibly. I mean, I want to tell you, is Suboxone the best? I take subs. I mean, subs is an interesting way to go. It's very different from methadone in that you're not going to get any euphoria. Suboxone, if you're not an opiate addict, it will get you high. But if you are, it makes you feel nothing. It just makes you not sick. And then, of course, at some point, you want to come off of it, right? I mean, but in my experience, Suboxone brings some real positives to the table. It brings a lot of negatives to the table. Now, Subutex is something that you can kind of get up, even if you are physically addicted to opiates. Methadone and Suboxone in certain doses can still give you a little bit of that monkey off your back. Suboxone doesn't. And so different personalities, different types of addicts, one may work better for the other. I can tell you which one worked better for me, but I'm not going to tell you right now. Because I'd like to do a whole video on it because I haven't seen that before. Look, if somebody gets the idea from this chat and they want to do a video like that, great. They're great. That's their experience. That's their truth. I have my truth, and it is mine and no one else's. And so I'll share that with you. And while I'm doing it, I'll share it with myself. And I look forward to that. And I'm actually, I'll probably do that next week. So this upcoming week, I would expect that video. I think it's super relevant, super important to do that now because I've had so many friends and so many people, friends of friends, and just people I know, and I read about it in the paper, and I'm right here in the heart of the recovery community here in Winchester, Virginia, and it just, you just never know. 1 microgram extra fentanyl, it's lights out. See you later. Just happened a couple of days ago. Now you got a guy who's locked up for, maybe he's going to get charged with homicide because he sold it to him. You know. It's really dangerous stuff, man. Because it'll kill you just like that. I mean, I literally was in a coma. I had 4 in 2000, I'm not even going to say what year, but a while ago, I had 4 hospitalized heroin overdoses in 10 months. And one of them, my lung collapsed, filled up with fluid. I got a pulmonary edema, whole nother story. Caused me to have pneumonia 3 years consecutively in a row. I had another one where I was in a coma for 9 days. That was pre-fentanyl. I've gotten to the point my body just can't take it. I do a little bit, I forget it, it's over. Cold turkey is the best. It really isn't. So cold turkey, yeah, obviously not taking anything, but cold turkey to me always implies that I'm not really sober. I'm just not using. You're not really treating the problem, because when you get rid of an addiction, it can manifest itself in so many different ways. And I mean, I've seen so many people get clean. They're not using drugs, but they become compulsive. And I've been there. Compulsive compulsive gamblers, compulsive, develop OCD type symptoms about other things, compulsive about sex, using the program for women or men. It manifests itself in a lot of different ways. I mean, even with me, I mean, it manifested itself into a video game. I mean, really. I mean, I got to the point with this particular video game where I played it so much that it was negatively affecting my relationships. I mean, if anything is affecting your life in a negative way, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And you think it might be a problem, it's a problem. And so we'll get into that. The JWMC says, Yanni, I've never used drugs. I work in a psych hospital, and there are many ads. It's who come through. I don't understand what that means. What do you think is the key for people to get clean? Very general, I know. Well, the first one is kind of a 5149 desire to do it. That's a hard place to get to. That's a hard place to get to, because drugs take you to a place where life is very, 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 very simple. The thing about being a drug addict, there's the reward. It's a Pavlovian trait of the bell, the dog and the food. And every time the bell rings, they bring out the food bowl, the dog gets used to that bell ringing before he gets food. And he immediately associates after, some time. I say immediately, it takes some time. But then he gets to the point where he associates that bell ringing with the food coming out. And if the food doesn't come out, he's still expecting, he still salivates over it. So you have to get to the point where you don't salivate over the drugs. And that is a process. Now, there's a way that I got there. I don't do it anymore. But there was a time getting clean in the beginning where I did. Having consequences hanging over my head helped. And certainly lately, having health problems and wanting to live. And I always go back and forth. I mean, there are days where I'm like, even in sobriety, I say, well, there's no relief. I don't know if I want to keep going like this. I need something else. And there's a specific process that I go through to get to that place. And I will get into that. And I'll get into it shortly because it's something that needs to be, and I don't forget about money or monetization or views or anything else. Again, sharing my experience with how I got to this place is, it matters. It matters. I'm sure there's plenty of it on YouTube. I don't know. When I said I don't watch YouTube, I really don't. I really don't watch prison YouTube. I don't. I mean, maybe I ought to watch more. I don't know. I think you probably meant addicts when you said ads. Johnny James, methadone will take you at least a year to come to wean off, and if you go cold turkey, expect a withdrawal for a month. That isn't my experience with it. I'll tell you my experience. Everyone is different. Everyone's threshold for tolerance, how much dope can you handle versus what I can handle. There really is a scale. Some of it's genetic, some of it's size, and some of it is just, how much you use. There's a lot of different factors that go into play. Well, withdrawal is the same thing. Ingesting is the same as excreting as far as how it affects a specific individual. There are people that just don't go through really tough withdrawal symptoms. There are people that go through excruciating withdrawal symptoms. Of course, a lot of this stuff is psychological. There are ways that you can do it. I have a method that maybe is against, and probably you guys are familiar with this, but there is a method to coming off of this stuff, and it might be slightly illicit, but if the information is valuable and it helps you come off of it, and you don't have the resources to do it in a, $5,000 a day, $2,000 a day facility. Again, going back to your original question, the key is that 5149 is willingness. If you're willing to try something different, and I don't mean try for a day, try it for a little while. Depends on the thing you're trying, how long you need to try it for in order to give it a fair shot. Man, my mouth is dry. The JMC, I know you're looking for his answer, but I think it's pretty simple. Addicts need to want to be clean more than they want the drugs. I mean, look, that's the seed, right? I mean, it's even in the Bible. Whether you believe it or not, the faith of a mustard seed will move a mountain. Now, are you literally going to move a mountain? Unless you're like Neo from the Matrix, probably not. Maybe. I haven't seen it. I'm kind of like flat earth. You got to prove it to me, and buddy, I'm sold. But the point stands that, yeah, the willingness, it definitely is there. But then what? Then what do you do? Okay, well, you're willing to try this. Well, what are you willing to try? And how far are you willing to go? Because 5150, it's 5149 at some point needs to get to just about 100%. You don't have to do it overnight, but it's got to get there. I'm sorry for the... Let me fix this. Boy, bubble gum and duct tape. Welcome to my world. But you know what? It's a world that a lot of us are living in right now. How to make ends meet, how to do things you want to do. In this case, I want to do this right now, so I'm just made it happen. All right, so General Jones says, people are shooting up Subutex now in this area, not the one with the blocker in it, so I'm sure they're getting high. Yeah, I've shot both. I've done them both. Suboxone just gets you instantly well. Anybody that says they're getting high off of Suboxone, they're feeling a rush off of Suboxone, I'm telling you, it's completely psychological. Again, bodies are different. I might be able to follow a particular exercise regimen and a nutrition regimen and get into a particular shape much faster or much slower than you. We're all built a little bit differently. Same thing applies to drugs. But the general approach that I'm talking about and we'll talk about, it works. If it worked for me, if it worked for somebody who's been in over 20 jails, I might be exaggerating there a little bit, but I guarantee you I've been in at least 15. I could probably count them down. That's probably a video too. 7 different prisons and had 9 heroin overdoses, all hospitalized. It doesn't count, somebody putting ice on your balls or slapping the shit out of you or running cold water over you in a bathtub or whatever. There's a lot of different ways to bring somebody back if you got to do it. Or Narcan at the crib. There's a lot of different ways. Now this, my favorite comment. I love the Letterman impression. Miss old HBO boxing. I mean, boy, wasn't that the golden age? Lampley. What the hell is that guy's name? It would be the old Larry Merchant, Jim Lampley, and Harold Letterman with a little Foreman thrown in there, maybe some Roy Jones. Doesn't get better. One of my favorite channels is completely. This is one channel I love. It's called Rummy's Corner, and it's about boxing. It's amazing. If you like boxing, that's the channel. It's just so good. Totally off topic. But that's okay. See, when I did this stuff back in the day, I couldn't go, I had to be very tightly focused. And I move in a lot of different tangents. And I like to be able to explore things that I'm interested in and maybe some other people are interested in. And, maybe do some content associated. Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, the world is full of a myriad possibilities. The quest, the adventure to find the thing that works, the thing that fits. We're all searching for the same thing, right? I'm searching for it too. It's the journey, man. It's not the destination, right? I mean, when I think about hiking a mountain or a big hill, last year I was doing the year before last I was doing a lot. Last year I was in jail. But before that, I don't remember so much of hitting the top as I do the 9-mile climb to get there. The rocks that I had to scale to get to the absolute peak. I remember the 9 miles up. I remember the 9 miles down. I kind of remember the view. I've got a few pictures of hitting the top. But the thing that really sticks right here is the journey. The destination is, it's cool. You achieved it. It's great. But now you got to get back down and then doing it again. We're all climbing mountains every day or every month or every year. The key is to not stay at the top of the mountain, because guess what? If you just stay at the top of the mountain, you got no electricity, you got no phone service, there ain't no food up there, no girls or boys or whatever, men, whatever it is that you're into. None of that stuff's up there. It's just a view, and a view is great, but it doesn't give you all the sustenance, okay? The achievement is something. You get the idea. I'm going off on a tangent again. All right. Alicia Beth. Hey, greetings from Texas. I've been a huge fan of yours from day one. I've never heard of you. It's hard for me to believe that. I almost remember all of my biggest fans from day one. I don't remember you, but I believe you. I believe you. Maybe you were the one lurking in the shadows. And if that's the case, welcome back. And I appreciate your love and support. I truly do. All right. There are people in here that said they had to go to work and they didn't, and I respect the hell out of that. You guys are lying sacks of shit, and believe me, you're in good company. I try my very best to be transparent and honest, almost to an absurd degree, to the point where it's almost offensive to people. But I get it. I get it. The best intentions of mice and men often go awry. I mean, I really need to shut this down. Yes, heroin should be able to be prescribed to true addicts. I highly recommend a book called Chasing the Scream. And it's about England, Portugal, and Canada, and their differing approaches and more humane approaches to drug addicts and drug addiction. And it's really unfortunate that in this country, the wealthiest nation in the world, number one, our incarceration rate makes Russia's look like a joke. They're number two, and we have like 2.5 times as many prisoners per capita. This isn't just strictly numbers than they do. Number 3 through 10 is like Brazil's in there somewhere, and the rest of it, I mean, let's be real. They're smaller than Utah. They're little countries. And they're still way, way, way lower than us. I mean, we are by far and away the country who locks up more of its citizens. Is it because we have more crime than than every other country? I don't know. Crime rate's never been lower. We actually live in a period of time where it's the safest it's ever been. All you have to do is look at the numbers. There's a number of reasons why. Maybe all the criminals are locked up. What am I doing out? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to bring crime back. Hopefully not. Busted Wallet Garage says, holy smokes, we need Yanni Does Yoga videos. That would be good content. I have no idea what yoga videos are. You only go once, I don't know. Been using drugs and alcohol for longer than I'd rather even say, and that's the oversimplified answer in my opinion. It's why it's so frustrating for doctors, nurses, and family. You know, have you ever had an experience, any of you, have you ever had an experience, especially with a drug overdose, where nurses and even doctors, there are wild vacillations. Am I using that word correct? Probably. There's a huge disparity in reactions. You talk about a reaction video. How about an overdose where you have real live reactions from nurses and medical professionals? I've had the most compassionate people in the world say the same things I've said. It's a sickness. It's an illness. Don't beat yourself up for it. I've got some information for you, or at least I've got some hope, something I can hook my wagon to. But there are others that treat you like absolute hot garbage dumpster trash, and you're not worth the shit in their fingernail. They're doing it strictly out of obligation. This is their job. It's like going to the DMV. They don't want to deal with my paperwork and give me that license, but it's their job. They punch the clock. They got to get their paycheck. They got to get their benefits. But honestly, most people, they hate their job. They sit in the same chair. And this is how it is for these nurses. They don't, or doctors or whatever. They have a completely different attitude to addicts and alcoholics. They haven't completely bought in to the DSM definition or the medical definition of addiction, that it is an illness, that it is a disease. It is an allergy of this, the mind and the body. And it is. No question about it. The JMC, it was still a felony when you did it. We need to change the way we handle drugs in this country, but you should do what sentence you get for the crime committed. Really? Really? Okay. So in other words, if somebody today were to commit that particular crime and they would get a year of probation, misdemeanor probation, and a fine, or 6 months of probation and a fine. I committed that same crime 9 years ago, and I've done 5 years in prison for it, and I'm still on felony probation for it. You think that that's equitable? You really believe that? Okay. That's your opinion. I respect it. I don't understand it. I don't comprehend it. But you're basically Old Testament justice, eye for an eye. I get it. The Silk Road, the drug website, not the actual Silk Road, was probably the best thing to happen until the feds took it down. I don't know anything about that. I read an article about it in Rolling Stone. I know it was a way to get, a lot of like really pure drugs. At the time when I read it, it sounded like heaven. Now, maybe they should be. So no one is dying in the streets. This stuff should be readily available for people over the age of 18. Regulated, not fentanyl. Taxed, not fentanyl. And you could go in and you could pick it up and it'd be decriminalized. Maybe that's the solution. Or maybe it's just decriminalization. You have simple possession. But God, can you imagine? I mean, the trafficking, dead. Gang and turf wars over this stuff, dead. How many people would not be in prison if it was available at that level? I mean, you could devote a whole channel to that topic. Yeah, so it allowed people to get drugs without being ripped off or risking street violence. You know, that's. Oh, see, so this is interesting. So the JMC has his opinion about, and I'm not here to just like call you out, but I'm going to go ahead. Okay, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out. So you're the one that said that, okay, if you commit the crime, and I appreciate your love and support, and I appreciate you being here, but I'm gonna be real with you for a minute. Okay, so you're a part of this system, and you're a part of the judgment that I just described. I mean, that becomes very clear to me when you say right on. That seems to be the case with our clientele. Some want to get clean, and I go above and beyond. So I appreciate you going above and beyond. I don't know what that means, but you are a part of this system, and you clearly are incorporating your judgment into this, at least in regards to me. Again, I appreciate your support. I don't agree with you at all regarding that crime. We are at the point in Virginia, Virginia at large, where if you have a marijuana conviction, I believe it's being scrubbed from your record. It won't exist. I don't know if that's happening right now. I know it became a $25 ticket, which I never thought I would see in Virginia. But it became a $25 ticket, a citation, July 1st. So essentially decriminalized. And in fact, Norfolk were one of the first cities to stop prosecuting. So you would be arrested by the police, and Norfolk prosecutors said, no, not going to prosecute. Good for them. Good for them. Because I can tell you this, my first crime that I ever committed was marijuana possession. And who knows, maybe if I'd never been convicted of that and I could freely smoke my weed, I never would have graduated, because then I was on probation, and then, I violated probation. Who knows? Butterfly effect. Who could say? Maybe I was too quick on the Jeez. Oh my God. Sorry about that. Like I said, bubble gum and duct tape. JB Weld and Goof Off. Silly Putty and Magic Shave. Are we even talking about prison here? Everybody's like, yeah, you're just, what are you doing in a saturated prison market? Have I even talked about prison hardly at all? I don't know. Have I? I don't think I have. A little bit. A little bit. The JMC says, I tend to tell them to get back to me when they are serious. Again, okay, sounds great. At the time, I wasn't ready, but it's not just his fault. We just didn't gel. It was neither our faults. It's anyone's fault. It was likely mine. Well, look, finding a sponsor is tough. It's hard to ask that question. It's hard to say, let me get that number. And it's even harder to pick up the phone and be like, yeah, remember that guy with the silly beard and the old hat? The one that looks like a homeless bum wandering the streets? I need some help. I mean, whatever you have, I want that. How do I get it? That's a hard phone call to make. I'm pretty good at making phone calls, but even that kind of phone call, hard to make. Numbers, this person doesn't answer the phone. He's still my sponsor. I need another one. I need to talk to someone. That's a hard phone call to make. A lot of times I don't make that call, or I didn't make that call. So I get it. Do I think there is any way to fix child molesters? Yeah, the only way you would fix them is to, I guess, clip their balls, right? I mean, how else would you fix them than to, I don't know, man, take away their testosterone, I don't know. No, I don't, not interested in fixing child molesters. It's funny, somebody said that to me, that, fixing a child molester, that it was a psychological malady, that it was a disease. Well, sure, probably being a serial killer is that. Do I believe that we can fix serial killers? Well, look, you've got 25 bodies under your belt. You got 25 notches on your bedpost. Let's try and fix you. So I think some people are probably beyond fixing, and really some people are beyond me caring. you know, whether you can or you cannot fix a child molester, I do believe. A very interesting story about this gentleman named Walter West. Very hard to find information on this guy. And I had a very interesting experience in a prison. It was called Long State Prison. It was actually the third prison I went to in Georgia. And there was a part of this prison that was, they were allocated from Wayne State Prison, and there was all these PC guys, and they were across the way. I was minimum out security, swinging a bush axe in Georgia ditches, and it's funny. Yeah, I was on a work detail out in that Georgia summer heat near the Florida-Georgia line, and when I came back, you had this whole group of people. They weren't in our dorm, they weren't in our block, but they were across the hall. You'd see them. And then you have somebody look them up. And we're talking the most heinous, vile, horrible crimes you could possibly imagine. And to even talk about it is just beyond the pale for me. I almost feel like I'm promoting it by even mentioning it, by even putting it in the air, some of this stuff. And it was made very clear, and I didn't have a lot of time left at that point. And the warden, who had hair like a 57 Studebaker. I mean, she had hair like Tommy Lee Jones in Natural Born Killers. It was ridiculous. Elvis. And, you know, so she makes it clear that you're going to be charged with aggravated assault if you touch one of these people. And everybody is basically short time. So you'd see him on the other side. And it was just incredible. I mean, I can't, well, I say I can't wait to do a video on this. I'm going to do a video on it, but I can't say I can't wait because it's guaranteed to turn stomachs. Horrible stuff. No, I don't think you could fix a child molester. I mean, some things have shades of gray. Even S&M, 50 Shades of Grey. I guess that has 50 Shades. I don't even know. Is that the person's name? Whatever. But with diddling kids, I think it's a wrap for you, man. In my book, see you later. Yanni, what are your thoughts on the term functioning alcoholic? Well, so a functioning alcoholic could be a lot of different things. I mean, one way could be to you drink to survive. You need it because look, the two things that will kill you if you come off of them, one of them is not heroin, but one of them is alcohol and one of them is something else, and I'm sure somebody in the comment section will mention it. But a functioning alcoholic is probably someone who is okay, who can manage in society. There are lots of them, but they need it to get through to the next day, and their body needs it, or else they'll go through DTs. They'll see. In other words, if you're an alcoholic, look, if alcohol isn't affecting your life in a negative way, you know, if you don't get drunk and get aggressive, freak people out, become violent, mean to your kids or worse, show up late to work, there's a million different ways it can affect your life in a negative way. If it's not affecting your life in a negative way, you're probably not an alcoholic. Now you could say, well, that person goes to work, they make a lot of money, they're okay with their family, but they drink, I don't know, a fifth a day. Well, imagine what that's doing to your body. I mean, that would be a functioning alcoholic. There are very few of those out there that are just the most pleasant, happy-go-lucky person to be around when they're completely obliterated when they go to sleep. The person that drinks that amount of alcohol. And there are people that drink a lot more. I mean, I know people that drink rubbing alcohol, mouthwash. Fiji water. I met a guy that did that rapid detox where you sleep through it or whatever. They said that they don't tell you that you feel like hell when it's done. Again, this is, I know people that have done the rapid detox and they felt almost nothing. I've known people that have done rapid detox and it was a nightmare to go through. Again, it all depends, and there are many different approaches to a rapid detox. I mean, you have at the top of the list unlimited money. You've got the Keith Richards full-on blood transfusion, where they took all of his blood out of his body and gradually put it back in, or whatever. I'm not a doctor. Is that story true? Nobody knows for sure. Only Keith Richards knows. That being said, the man is still alive. They say he's the oldest living heroin addict, but I do believe he's clean now. I don't know. That's a legendary story. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. Keith Richards, the oldest living heroin addict. All right. I think we got to be getting, oh boy, this is really filled in with some detailed stuff. And a lot of this is just you guys are having conversations with each other, which I think is amazing. And you guys are debating and discussing topics and subjects that we've just kind of touched upon, and you're meeting and interacting with each other and figuring it out and complimenting each other. This is beautiful. To me, this is a beautiful thing. You guys are really interacting with each other in a really nice and productive way, and that's great. That's how we get the answers. Having a conversation, I love it. I really love it. I mean, as you can see, this isn't some kind of super chat. I'm not making a nickel off of this. I'm just doing it. So I'm here. I'm happy to make the love connection, to play the hookup artist, to basically be Tinder for thinkers, Tinder for people who want to find solutions. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Oh, that's the one. That's the person I want to talk to. Great. I'm not even touching that. God's plan. I don't know any other lyrics. God's plan. I need some sleep. What do I think God's plan for me is, since he kept you alive during all those ODs? That's another interesting topic. Do I or do I not believe in God? Do I believe that he kept me alive, or was it purely physiological? Did I just get lucky? Did they just catch me at the right time? I think it's very interesting. The last overdose I had, you guys are very familiar with it. Something very interesting did happen to me. I don't know if it was, I'm still trying to figure it out. Let's put it that way. But I want to describe the entire situation, the incidents, the occurrence. And maybe you guys can help me figure it out. Interesting video. Gabapentin is a big help if you want to get clean, but yet it is now, so that's the thing. It was, but now it's not. Ultram, it was, but now it's not. Neurontin, it was, but, This is all chain gang dope. This is all stuff that you could do in jail and prison, and now you can't. Johnny James says, I haven't stopped for more than a few weeks in the last 25 years, so are you saying cold turkey will cause you to transfer your addiction? I have Dome every 3 days so that I don't suffer. Dome. What is that, slang for methadone? Or Suboxone? I'm not sure. You have to unpack that for me. I thought I explained it pretty well, and again, we'll get into it. I recognize your avatar from years ago. You were called Johnny Bones or something like that. So I know that you've been alive for the last couple of years. So maybe you can hold on just a little while longer. And we'll get into it. I get it. Okay. So you're faced with ripping and running, chipping away. I get it. So this is a good point. General Jones, I believe, is making the case that he was a functioning drug addict. He took 40 milligrams of Opana and Roxy 30s 3 or 4 times a day. 5 years of my life, I don't remember my son's baseball games. Is that living? Is that a functioning addict? He went to work. He took care of his family, but he doesn't even remember. If you don't remember anything, did it ever really happen? How can you enjoy that journey? if you can't even remember it. God knows how many nights I woke up not knowing how the hell I got there. But I had a great time last night. So they said, oh, Yanni, you wouldn't believe what you did last night. It was crazy. Oh, my God, everybody was... What did I do? It's not real if I don't remember it. The nature of memory is a very tricky thing. When you were using, Kelly Vincent says, when you were using, how much were you spending a day? Also, do you believe in gateway drugs like weed, drugs leading to other drugs? Again, it's different for everyone else. What is true for me may not be true for you. I believe that people can recreationally, I mentioned it before, they could put PCP in their ass recreationally. Hey, you only do it once a month. There are people that chip. They do heroin. Oh, here, a little there. Usually, if you're sticking a needle in your arm, it's probably pretty real. That might be a problem. But they're out there. There are recreational users out there where it's not a problem. It doesn't. But gateway drugs, very interesting topic. I mean, kratom might be a kratom. Is it kratom? Kratom? I don't know. That might be a gateway drug. That's an interesting video. I definitely had my run. I've tried it all. Kratom, Suboxone, Subutex, methadone, CBD oil, a little bit. Spice. I used to make it. I'll never forget. I'll tell you the whole story. Oh my God. I was in those, the Wild Wild West back then. You could basically order the ingredients off of Amazon. Made some good money doing that. Did you see the new procedure featured on the Doctors Friday where they go into the addict's brain to do some type of procedure that reduces the person's addictive issues? No, but that's interesting. I remember I went to a very expensive rehab many years ago. Obviously didn't work, but it worked for a while. I think the leftover after effect of that, life got in the way and I reacted in a bad way. Ultimately, I went to prison. This was before I went to prison, but they were doing a lot of brain mapping and the effects of drugs. It was really like pioneering, cutting edge stuff. And it was Dr. Merrill was his name, out of Atlanta. And he was Metro Atlanta Recovery Residence. And it was one of those that had a psychiatrist on the staff, prescribing medicine. But yeah, so it's amazing how differently the drugs affect different people. All right, there's still a bunch of dark net markets. Great, don't mention them here. If you do a backflip, I'll donate $20. Do you realize how long I've been sitting in this stool? Now, if you said flip your back out for $20, I think I've already done it. Send me the money. I could use it. Rickism, I agree with you. The JMC, I didn't realize you posted that comment. I appreciate the work you do, and I do. But I can't agree with that point of view, and I don't. But I respect your right to have that opinion. I don't agree with you, but I respect your right to have that opinion. I do not have a way to receive donations. I guess I could give you a Cash App. I won't. I really don't even know how I feel about that, honestly. I mean, really, if I'm over here really doing this to try and help, I mean, I just kind of want to see how long I can go. I never meant for this to go 3.5 hours, but again, life happens. It was nighttime when I started. Now, the birds are chirping, the squirrels, I got black squirrels back here. I didn't even know that was a thing. We have black squirrels here in Winchester, Virginia. Lovely, lovely little creatures. I mean, they've gotten to the point where they'll actually, they don't eat out of my hand, but they're just, kind of like that cat that never comes in the house, but you still put the food bowl out for it. And he lets you kind of come up and almost pet him. But he's still kind of a feral animal. Those are my black squirrels. I also have a shitload of groundhogs. I think that's what they are. I went through like 10 different things trying to fit. They look like beavers, but they don't have the flappy tail. It kind of looks like Punxsutawney Phil, but it doesn't seem quite as fat. But maybe they did a really fat one for Punxsutawney, like you have to be like overfed. You know, like an English bulldog looks cooler when it's fat and it's about to have a heart attack. Maybe Punxsutawney Phil, same deal. I don't know. Interesting question. How do you make Punxsutawney Phil? How is he bred? Is it like Uga from the Georgia Bulldogs? Do they have like 8 generations of inbreeding in order to get to this $30,000 English bulldog that can't even make its way out of the cage? Not to talk shit about English bulldogs. I used to have one. His name was Quincy. Somebody stole him from me in residential treatment. That's a hell of a story. That's a hell of a story. All right. What's the angriest you've ever been? Wouldn't you like to know? See, here's the thing with like donations. For me, I would always want to make better stuff. So for me, I'd rather have like equipment donated. Like, here's an equipment list. Donate this. Don't give me cash. Or give me a gift card and I'll show you the receipt. Or donate 10% or some percentage to an addict, alcoholic, a prisoner just coming out in need. You know, because I have a guy who was locked up 29 years straight. No break. And he's really struggling. I don't know if he's struggling as bad as me, but he's struggling to adapt. He pretty much keeps to himself, kind of the way I've done over the last few months. And but his, you know, psychological problems and his ability to adapt and just be able to just look. You go into a Walmart or a grocery store, there's so many boxes, there's so many choices. It's so overwhelming. I'll just become bewildered and lost. I can't imagine what it would be like for somebody with that much time. Have you ever been to Red Onion? I've read that they lock you up 23-1 and don't rehabilitate their inmates, just lock them. Where do they rehabilitate inmates? I mean, Red Onion's no different from that. I mean, Red Onion is basically a special housing prison for someone who's been in trouble multiple times or has committed some unbelievably heinous offense. I mean, that's how you get to Red Onion. You know, you don't get to Red Onion for being nice. They sure as hell ain't going to rehabilitate. I mean, look, most people that go to Red Onion are doing heavyweight time. But rehabilitate in prison? Where do they do that at? Where in the hell do they do that at? Because I ain't never been to that place. The one that they want to call a rehabilitation prison or whatever is Therapeutic Community, Indian Creek. And I've talked about that before, and other people on YouTube have talked about that before, and I'll tell you this, that place probably fucked me up in the head just about more than any other prison. Yeah, it wasn't particularly violent, but the psychological backflips that you have to do in order to make it through that program and fall in line, boy, talk about some stories. Don Ivor says, Don Ivor 3, I'm 3.5 years clean from everything. DOC was heroin and benzos. Methadone saved my life. I think that methadone does save lives. You have to approach it in the right way. But look, would you rather be on methadone or Suboxone for 20 years? Or would you rather be ripping and running, selling and shucking and jiving, making moves here, making moves there, having this shit run your life, enslaving you? Or would you rather go get your dose at 6 o'clock in the morning, get your take homes, whittle it down to where you only have to show up a couple of times. You keep getting drug tested. There's accountability structure in place. You get into a routine. They're getting 65 Bellet says they're getting amazing results from Ibogaine or Ibogaine. I've never heard of that. That's very interesting. I'll look into it. Eden by Gould says, Spice is really bad in my city in New England. Used to see like 3 or 4 people a day just completely zoned out in the street on my way to work. Well, Spice isn't what it used to be. When it was JWH18, I think it was made by a professor or some chemist for Syracuse University. It was like 1 molecule removed from cannabis or a cannabinoid. And as the federal government was slowly chasing the tail of this synthetic cannabinoid, the companies which sold it had to keep 1 step ahead of them. So it would be, instead of 1 molecule, 2 molecules, and then 3 molecules, and then 4. So what once was like very much like weed, had a very high, very similar to marijuana, became something totally different. Good or bad, you decide. But it's nothing like it was 10 years ago. Not even similar at all. I'm not. Put up your PayPal on your YouTube About page. First of all, I'm really skeptical about doing that. I think there are a lot of bad actors on these social media platforms who might, I don't even know how safe that is. So I mean, not that there's really anything in there, but whatever. I don't know. I'll think about it. If I had Cash App, I'd throw you a few bucks. It's a form of entertainment. Why not pay a little? I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. I do. I just don't really know how that works. I've never done a GoFundMe. No matter where I've been, I've never taken GoFundMe money. I've never taken donation money. On the other hand, if I ever did decide to do this for a living, I guess an element of that has to exist. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. If I'm giving you something, excuse me, my mouth is really dry. If I'm giving you something in return for your money, I hate the term donation. If I can show you, okay, I'll take this, you'll get that. I can really give you something that's worth your while, then that's the definition of a good deal. One where both parties walk away or walk into it satisfied. But if I'm just taking something without any promise or guarantee or result or proof of concept that you're going to get this back in return, then I wouldn't feel comfortable doing it. So this is something I have to work out psychologically, because I always say, I've said this before, I've learned this lesson, that, doing what's right is what you do when no one's looking. It's very hard to do it on camera. If I continue to do this, I'll have to get to that point. It's tough. I get mixed emotions about it. I don't know. Hercules, Johnny, I appreciate your conversation, man. You have a very interesting view on life. Much respect, my dude. I appreciate that. It was formed by a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of different. My experiences are my own. They're very much not similar. That is horrible. I'm sorry. But they're very much not similar to anyone else's. It's very different. So again, when you compare me and my experiences and my perspective and my solutions to someone else, I'm sure there are some similarities here and there. But for the most part, it is different. It is my own. It's my responsibility. It's my duty, and it's my calling to share them. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, again, if taking donations or taking investments in myself and my time allow me to better present that or do more of it, then that may be a fair way for me to reconcile that in my mind. I don't know what any of this means. The dangerous loner, Johnny James. The number Wang. I'm high on pot brownies right now. That's great. That's great. I mean, You know, get lifted, bro. Get high as giraffe. You know what I'm saying? Giraffe. Do it. Not judging you, man. I think it's great, dude. Honestly, look, if I could smoke weed every once in a while and it not lead to something else, I probably would do it. I really don't like weed for a lot of reasons. But I mean, look, every once in a while, yeah, I like to smoke. You know, I like to get, I like to get a little tree. I like to get a little, take the edge off a little bit. That's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm on almost hour number 4 is to take the edge off. I'm gonna sleep like a motherfucking baby when this is over, and it's probably about to be. The number Wang, love you, Yanni. Love you back. Love you back. I'll send some cash. Hold on. How are you gonna do that? You don't even know. It's impossible. I've given you no information to send me anything at all, so I don't believe you. Well, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but you're definitely not doing it. All right. I agree. I would donate a few bucks for streaming this late. I have no idea how to add that. I have no idea. John K. Been on juice for 10 plus years, few slips. I mean, juice, you're talking about steroids, you're talking about HGH, clenbuterol, Trembolone, Dianabol. It's funny. There are a lot of people in the program, AA and NA, that actually do that. They substitute their addiction for mind-altering substances for steroids and working out. Very common, interesting situation. I myself have never been down that road, but I've certainly thought about it. Why is this so yellow? It looks like there's a piss filter on the screen. Am I tripping? I think I'm, no. That's a good idea, asshole. You could set up an Amazon wish list for items you need to improve your production. I just don't know how to do that. Kelly Vincent, people just want to help you, Yanni. I know it's hard to accept. They don't expect anything in return. You're not begging for money like some people. Just to be clear, I live on my own. Anything that I use to deliver content, material, information is mine. It's all mine. My car is mine. This place that I live, I pay for. My parents don't pay for it. It's all me. And I like that. I like that it's all me. I can't add super chat. Number one, I'm not monetized. Now, what I don't understand is that at one point I had the subscribers and I had the watch time minutes in order to get to that place. I have since taken down a couple of videos and it took the watch time minutes or hours, whatever it is, whatever the requirement is. I'm way short of that now. But I thought it was good to disassociate from some of those videos. And maybe I'll re-upload them at some point, but for now, I don't think they're really relevant to what I'm doing. I even have a little, I don't really understand why I have I wanted to do kind of the inside prison thing, and I actually shot a lot of footage of that, and there was something that was really cool. I actually had this gangbanging midget that was on there named, what the hell was his name? A lot of high-profile cases. I've been locked up with a lot of, at least in Virginia, high-profile cases. Everything from a guy named Bob Barker, who got convicted of shooting his wife, which I thought, wow. Bob Barker, meet Bob Barker, that was a good one. The Molotov cocktail kid, I think his name is Ethan Klein. He's a character. A Facebook killer, I met a few of those. And on and on and on. A guy that put 5 holes in somebody right over by the Portsmouth Bridge Tunnel. I mean, I've been in the same prison with Brian Nichols. Look him up. Look him up. Remember a few years ago, it was probably 10, 12 years ago, there was a guy who was selling. He worked at a crematorium. He owned it, in fact. And people would pay to have their loved ones put in this burned up or whatever they do, cremate the body and then put it in the urn. And then, they buy you've seen The Big Lebowski, right? They're negotiating the price of their urn with the ashes and whatever, and they throw in the wind and all. So this guy, instead of burning, he was like taking logs, putting ashes in there, and he was taking the bodies and throwing them, behind the crematorium. I guess he just didn't have the fuel to run it, because it's got to get hot. I mean, burning a human body, just ask Joseph Mengele. It isn't as easy as it sounds. And that's a horrible, I'm not making a joke. So anyway, the answer, Dollar Shave Club. Yeah, give me a subscription to Dollar Shave Club. Starting. My God, Ric Flair was in the bar. I would have loved to have been there. Ric Flair. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but my God, Ric Flair. Woo-hoo! Woo! Ain't nobody done it better. Ric Flair. What a guy. I can't add super chat, so you can't donate. Yes, a wish list is great. Maybe. John K., what the F? Don't know what you're talking about. Rickism, you've given 4 hours of your time and it's entertaining. Why not throw you a little cash if people can do it? Those of you who know what I just did, don't say anything about it. I did that for a reason. Okay. Oh, I think his name actually was, yeah, the Ethan Klein, the H3. No, it wasn't him. That wasn't the Molotov. Look him up. I think his name was MCK Molotov Cocktail Kid. Cool guy. Ate with him a lot. Did a lot of bowl shots with Molotov Cocktail Kid. He was in a very tough part of the Portsmouth City Jail, which is a fucked up place. I mean, if you're in maximum security, I mean, you're in any part of that jail. I mean, it's an unbelievable shithole. And in fact, I think it's been condemned, but it's somehow still open. But anyway, I was actually there last summer. This time last year, that's where I was. There was another guy named Pee Wee in there. You know, it wasn't the Pee Wee that you guys know from the video that I did and from other YouTube channel. It was a little black guy named Pee Wee, and there was a taller white guy named Coffee. And I'll never forget, Coffee, oh boy, what a prison story. It involves a toilet brush, what they call the stool brush. And let me tell you something, man, 40 stitches later, the stool brush is real. It definitely would be like the top 5 weapons in prison. I mean, stool brush has to be in there. I just gave somebody, I'm just giving them gold. It's fine. Use it. Take it. I'll do it my own way. Yeah, I did not meet or did I? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Yeah, the Undertaker who wasn't burning bodies was in East Tennessee. I think there was one in Georgia as well, or maybe he was locked up for something else in Georgia. He was definitely at a prison that I was in. There was a guy, you want to talk about something horrible? There was a guy who tied his wife to a tombstone. Speaking of cemeteries, it just jogged my memory. Tied her to with rope, bound her, spread her legs, tied her to a cemetery tombstone, and took antifreeze, pulled her panties off, and poured antifreeze into her. Yeah. He used to umpire the softball games that I played. Well, I played every sport in prison. I mean, softball, soccer, basketball, coaching basketball, you name it. Sound went out. The sound went out. Is that right? So I don't know. I'd have to step away if you wanted me to figure out something with PayPal or Cash App. Maybe I'll do. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another 4-hour live stream in 30 minutes. What do you think about that? That'd be insane, right? Or maybe the benefit to this. I'm kidding. I'm not really doing that. I'm like running on complete E. I mean, if people didn't think I was on drugs before, at least last time, if I was on drugs, I would just keep going and going and going. There is no getting tired. And it's funny, with the illness that I have, it's a lot better now. But you just never know, like, when it's going to hit. And the fatigue, it sets in. It's unbelievable. Like I said, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be, and I'm working my way through it. But it's like when I get it, when I get the juice, when I catch lightning in a bottle, I got to use it. Because I don't know when I'm going to get it again. So, you know, live streaming at oddball times like 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, hey, look, again, people are going this way. I'm going that way. Who the hell else is doing that at 4 o'clock in the morning who's not like a game streamer? I mean, maybe somebody is. I don't know. But they ain't all doing that. That's for sure. That's number one. I've wasted 26 years on methadone and I hate it, but in chronic pain, so I have no choice. My life pretty much over, honestly. So is the methadone prescribed for pain management? Or were you prescribed something else and you've switched over to, you know, to methadone and now you don't have anything else you can do? I mean, that's really sad. Wow. So there are a lot of people in here. Dude, that is not... Please do not put that address up. Are you fucking crazy? Why would you do that? I don't live there, number one. Come on, delete that, please. I'm sure you mean well and all, but my God, come on. Why? Why would you do that? Look, Karen, I know you're trying to help, but I mean, the last thing... You're fine. You're fine. I mean, I know your name. I know who you are. You're very sweet, and I appreciate your help. But that, you have no idea how... Look, when you've been in a situation where someone is willing to show up to your court hearings because they don't like you from a YouTube channel, if you've ever experienced that, you'll understand why I'm hesitant to do PayPal or donations or equipment lists from Amazon, because I feel like it's traceable to me and there's going to be some weirdo with an axe to grind. Not calling any of you that, but you know, when you have your grandparents, I mean, not your grandparents, but your girlfriend's grandparents, they are constantly sent copies of your criminal record. Mother, sister, all sorts of weird doxing. Getting my visitations taken away while I was in jail for 90 days. Complaining about me trying to monetize my incarceration. Oh, God. Anyway, I need to go ahead and shut this down before I say something I shouldn't say. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. All right. So, look, maybe... I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll throw something out there, and if you go to my channel, you know, you could do something to help me out. Like I said, I mean, an equipment list would be very beneficial, and I promise you I'll make the most out of that. That is probably the way I'd be most comfortable with it, but anyway, I'm getting really tired. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this entire time. I know it hasn't been wall-to-wall entertaining the way I would want it to be, but, you know, it is 4 hours after all, so... Please understand I'm doing the best that I can, and I do appreciate your love and support. And I am working on a really cool video. I'm not going to say it's the biggest monster, video of all time. But I can't say anything about it. But it's going to be huge. It's going to change the internet. But it will be cool. You will definitely meet somebody who's very interesting, and unlike anyone you have ever met in your life. I mean, wow, what a character. You think I'm a character? This guy's a character. So anyway, I don't know if we've got some music. Maybe I can figure out some music here to kind of play this on the way out the door. Hopefully you guys figured out whether it was or wasn't on a green screen. Bubblegum and duct tape, man. Bubblegum and duct tape. Please take care of each other. Respect each other's rights. Everything is not as black and white as it seems. There are shades of gray. And if you just take the time to just listen, just a little bit, I feel sound like Jerry Springer over here, but seriously, like I really feel like a lot of this conversation is unbelievably productive. Just for me to read it, not just for me to, tell you what my feelings are, my thoughts are on these particular topics, but to see you guys interact. No, that's not true. I don't think she meant to do that. I think it's just she's trying to maybe help me out, maybe. I don't know. That's not where I live. But I don't want to see whoever does live there, to get, a dead rat in the mail or some anthrax or whatever. Not that any of you guys would do that, but there might be... Yeah, we're going to get into the methadone Suboxone thing. And again, I apologize for kind of shutting it down this way. But 4 hours is 4 hours. I mean, that's not too shabby, So, yeah, I appreciate you guys cutting me a little slack. Please, again, respect each other. I love the interaction in here. It was absolutely incredible. There were very few trolls that I saw, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm never going to block you or stop you from expressing your opinion. If there's, especially criticism, if it's anything constructive at all, this is too long, that is too short, I don't like your delivery here. I mean, really, there's only so much I can do about that. I don't like your face. Your nostrils are enormous, they're giant grape holders. You're not wrong. If ever there was a nose that was born and bred for drug use, this is the schnoz right here. No question about it. I'll own that. I'll wear that one. I'll wear that. I will wear that. No problem. But again, I love it. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. We will. And who knows? Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do this every night. We'll have our own meeting every night. Who knows? The life and the world is filled with infinite possibilities. Go after someone. See what happens. Don't live in the past. Don't live too far in the future. Stay in the present. Feel everything around you. Take it all in. And then take some action. And that's it. Appreciate you guys hanging with me. 4 hours. That's it. Take care of yourselves and each other. That's Jerry Springer. Just get out of here. Go to sleep or do whatever. Seriously. Do something.